Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. Right before broadcast, something pretty disturbing happened, and I'm going to put it on the record and share it here with all of you. Um, Apparently, I don't even know what this is about, but we have dealt with some very lunatic, unhinged people. And you might not be surprised to find out that the UFO community is full. It is full of people that are mentally not well. And apparently, one of those individuals apparently feels slighted by me. This person is a big Lou Elizondo fan. Imagine that, another unhinged Lou Elizondo Kool-Aid drinking cult member that's running around threatening people. And before we begin with the Wilcock presentation tonight, I'm just going to share this with you. These are messages that I received. Now, before I read you this, I just want to say that what I believe happened is that this person, his name is Mike Newman, I'm putting you on blast. Well, really, I want to make sure that in case he deletes these messages, there is some record that he's indeed sent me these messages. So Mike Newman apparently runs something called the UAP Nexus team. And I'll show you that as well, their Twitter. Wow, 3 whole followers, and joined in May 2024, a brand new, nameless, faceless, brand new Lou Elizondo supporting account. But back to the messages, these disturbing messages that I was just sent. You've fucked with the wrong man. Trust me, you have fucked with the wrong man. I don't know what I did. I think he's saying that I posted a link to one of my shows. That would be this show, the Golden Showers and Superpower shows, on some Facebook UFO group that he runs or controls. Golden Showers, MFer, go ahead and report me to Facebook for harassment. I'm going to effing take you down. I'm going to do a deep dive research on everything related to you, your career, your business name. I'm on your ass, troll. You effed with the wrong person. Come on, be a man. Come out of the shadows. Be a man. Come out of the shadows. I'm right here, you dumb dickhead. I don't understand what's going on here. All of a sudden, I'm just being threatened in emails. You think I haven't dealt with BS like you in the past? Do you think for a moment that I am my 45 years of experience, don't know how to legally take someone down and shut them the F down? You F with the wrong man. I'm going to annihilate you, your reputation. You better hope you don't have anything tied to your identity on Facebook because, sir, I'm going legal on you. I have a team of attorneys, sir. I'm going legal on you. You better hope you're not outside of the United States. You better hope you're hiding behind a VPN. You effed with the wrong man. Come on, girlfriend, duke up. And I reply, what are you talking about? I don't even know who you are. He says, know exactly what I'm talking about. The golden shower, man. You posted BS on my group, then left my group. Now I'm going to F with you. I warned you. You left the group. I didn't leave any group. I didn't join any groups today. I may have posted that on some UFO-related group. To me, that proves you're guilty as charged. Not charged, charge. You're the troll, so welcome to the response. Welcome to your personal lockdown. The way you try to lock down myself and my administrators. You ever post that golden shower nonsense BS on my effing site again, I'm going after you, full legal, full bore. I am not stopping, MFer. I gave you the opportunity to delete it. He didn't. I never got a message asking me to delete. And by the way, let's just be clear. Some of these Facebook groups, even though they're about UFOs, they don't want me posting. And they make it very clear if they don't want me posting on their page. And if somebody says, hey, we don't want you posting here, I don't post there. Or they generally just delete all my posts because, you can't hear the critical, fact-based, evidence-based side of things. That would be detrimental to the Kool-Aid drinking cult you belong to. And I just said, I have no idea what you were talking about. I post my shows on many groups. He says, you will. And again, this is the Twitter account, Mike Newman, 1966 on Twitter. And here's the Facebook group, which is interesting. I guess, I don't know. says this content isn't available right now. His group isn't available according to that link. This content isn't available right now. So I don't know. I can try to look it up, UAP Nexus, but this is another of the Lou Elizondo cultic, I feel like maybe, I don't know. I can't find it right now. But I just want to put on the record some of the, truly mental case people that contact me and threaten me, various threats. And it just, I don't know how people are that stupid to put all kinds of threats like that and put them in writing and send them to me in writing under your real name. Not too bright, this guy, Mike Newman, right? Great. So I don't know if I could, it's just crazy that, and by the way, I don't know how this guy is even messaging me. I don't think that we're friends on Facebook, but it is what it is. I'm gonna go and so I gotta tell you that sometimes people just surprise me. It's surprising that person would be so stupid to make those kind of threats, publicly. Well, not publicly, they were private messages, but still make those kind of threats. And what he thinks there's no consequences. And by the way, it's been a long time since I have actually reported anybody for threats or harassment, but I'm certainly going to do that in this case. It's ridiculous that this guy. And what did I do? I posted a show on his Facebook group. Look, I don't even know what I did to get this guy's panties in a bunch. But I mean, wow. UAP Nexus team. And here he is. News of the day. Elizondo's book is about to drop. Yeah, so big Lou Elizondo supporter. Big Dave Grush fan. In other words, he's an idiot. I got to tell you, nothing surprises me anymore. I posted a link on a Facebook group and suddenly I'm the devil now and he's going to annihilate me. Dude, you need to take your medication, wackadoo. So we'll take a moment to welcome into live chat. Get off his lawn, says Patty. Yes. Thor Pankus White Shirt says, praise the cash. I'm wearing the shirt. You too can get a praise the cash. You can praise the cash too. Buy a shirt. They're in the merchandise section. Help me increase the security at my home. I'm terrified of these wackadoo keyboard warriors on the internet, right? What the hell? Pete Barry, welcome, is a member, says Wilcock looks like he could eat an apple through a letter book. I truly believe that. Yes, I definitely believe that. So we'll welcome in the live chat and then we'll get started. I have some clips to share. And, just to be an asshole, I'm going to reply to that guy on Twitter and I'm going to post my show. I'm going to post this show. No, you know what? I'm not even going to do it. It's not a good idea to feed the wackadoos, right? Don't feed the wackadoos, right? Yeah, he needs a lithium prescription. Who gets that upset? If somebody posts something on Facebook that I really hate, I don't send them threatening messages. Do you? This is just so crazy. Gary Newman has pasta now. Wow, that's interesting. Gary Newman is, and you know what's funny is I can't go to his I don't know, there's a group here, UAP Nexus. That's interesting. And he's got, let's see, like 3 followers on his page. Why would I even post to something that has 3 followers? Why would I post there? This person is unavailable on Messenger. So I think I know who this is. I think I know exactly who this is. That's my, and listen, I'm not going to speculate out loud, but I think that a certain maybe imaginary fake UFO program director from the land of make-believe is losing his goddamn mind at some of the things that I'm posting. And oh boy, what an incredible day it has been for people who really care about the truth. And I'm going to share this before we get into the Wilcock thing. That's interesting. Gary Newman is pizza sauce, right? Great. All right. And I write, watch this space to see all the brand new nameless, faceless X accounts that will cry, then harass and attack me for stating facts. Cry or cope all you like. This is still a fact. Facts don't care about your feelings. It has been 352 days and still we have been given zero evidence of Dave Grush's claims. Isn't that interesting? I think it is. 352 days now. What do we got? Less than 2 weeks until we hit a year of no evidence. And every time I post this on Twitter with the count, all that happens is a nameless, faceless, brand new Twitter or X accounts jump out into the thread to harass me, to demand evidence. And, it's really something to see. It is like watching a Scientology cult member melt down. You ever watch those videos when they're like yelling at the critics or the protesters and harassing them? That's exactly what it's like when you post a factually accurate statement. And by the way, I'm all for him showing his evidence, but come on. Maybe he does have evidence, but show me another whistleblower in the history of whistleblowers that's waited a year before they drop the evidence of their claims. It's so ridiculous and it's so stupid. And boy, it's not been a good day to be a UFO grifter today. I was just shocked and surprised and happy to see this one. This was the post of the day for me. I'm going to share it with you. It's from Stephen Greenstreet. After Lou Elizondo revealed the details of his forthcoming UFO book, I reached out to the Department of Defense for comment. My questions and the Department of Defense response in full. My inquiry. Former Pentagon official Luis Elizondo announced the upcoming release of his autobiography. Elizondo and booksellers are promoting this claim. Quote, Lou Elizondo is the former head of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, the Pentagon unit that researched UFOs. So, Mr. Greenstreet asked, is Lou Elizondo the former head of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or ATIP? 2, did the Pentagon have a unit that researched UFOs called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program? And here's the bombshell response from the Department of Defense, which essentially really shows the truth about Lou Elizondo. This is just another in a long line of confirmations from the government that he lied to us all. He lied to everyone. And you dumb dickheads are still defending a proven liar. Here's the statement. As we have stated before, Luis Elizondo had no assigned responsibilities for ATIP. As stated in the Historical Record Report, Volume 1, DIA established the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Application Program, or OSAP, in 2009. This program was sometimes also referred to as ATIP. OSAP-ATIP ended in 2012 when the funding ended. DIA managed OSAP-ATIP. Luis Elizondo was neither assigned nor detailed to the DIA or Defense Intelligence Agency. Also, as noted in the Historical Record Report, Volume 1, after OSAP was canceled, the ATIP moniker was used by some individuals associated with an informal, unofficial UAP community of interest within the Department of Defense that researched UAP sightings from military observers as part of their ancillary job duties. In other words, a hobby. This effort was not recognized, an official program, and had no dedicated personnel or budget. That's devastating for Luis Elizondo, who's trying to market a book based on a complete and total lie that has now been corrected multiple times by the government. Never ran a program. Good luck selling a book on a lie, you loser. I just can't, you think about the moral and ethical implications of some of these things. Like, imagine saying, I'm just going to lie on my book to sell it. Like, whatever I have to do to make this money. If I have to lie about running a real program, so be it. And if the government corrects everybody, I'll claim cover up, right? That's his only defense, cover up, or, you know, the men in black, right? Something. It's so ridiculous. And the fact that Lou Elizondo is going to market a book, I commented on Facebook. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a law enforcement officer. But to me, if you include complete and total 100% provable lies in the marketing material for your book, I think that should be illegal. I don't know if it is. And I don't know. I commented on Twitter. I don't know if consumer protection organizations within the United States are going to just let this guy lie about running the Pentagon UFO program he never ran in order to sell a book. I would think that maybe that would be something worth investigating and looking into. But that's what kind of a loser Lou Elizondo is. He needs to lie about his resume in order to make anybody pay attention to him. Loser pussy that he is. All right, I've said enough about that. We're going to get into the Wilcock portion. Yeah, so apparently that Facebook group, I don't know what happened, but I've seen this happen a few times before. Like somebody will message me threats like this, and then their Facebook account doesn't exist. It's like they send the messages and then delete their account so that they think they won't be held responsible for threatening people across interstate lines like this. And let's just be clear, that's just one of the Lou Elizondo unhinged lunatics that have threatened me, my family, my wife, my children, doxed me. And where is Lou Elizondo on all of this? Does he condone it? Is he directing people to do that? I don't know. I'm just asking questions here. He certainly has never made any statements condemning people that are critics of his being doxed, threatened, intimidated, or any of that, right? And we all know that Mr. Elizondo loves a good sock puppet account to harass and threaten his critics from, right? And it's just, it is what it is. I have something to share before we begin, which is just a funny clip of Mr. Wilcock. We're going to get into all of this tonight. If you're just joining us, I apologize for the stalled introduction here, but I thought that those messages may disappear. Sometimes people unsend messages on Facebook after they threaten me or whatever. I just wanted to make sure that we have a record of those threats being made. There's a pretty serious unhinged lunatic making threats, right? But I'm not real concerned. Most of the time, these guys turn out to be keyboard warriors. You know, they hide behind their keyboard. I'm going to get you. I'm going to annihilate you and destroy your reputation. Good luck, buddy. Do you know one of the things that frustrates these UFO scam crew so much about me is that I have, I'm sure if you dig enough, you'll find some kind of skeletons in my closet that you can use to make me look bad. But generally, no. I've been with the same woman for like 25 years. I have a very boring life outside of this. I have no criminal convictions or anything like that. So they really hate me because I don't have that one thing that they can throw out. You know, I mean, I guess they could just try lying like they do about other people, call me a dildo salesman or something. It's incredible. All right. So, golden showers bring superpowers. First, I'm going to share this because this is interesting. David Wilcock is talking about what great investments and how humble his house is. And then we're going to talk a little bit about his house, his $2 million log cabin mansion that he says is a modest home. Oh, you got to love it, friends. You got to love it. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. I live in a modest home. That's a $2 million mansion.
When there was no other way that we could have made it. It's only because of me, and it's only because of me putting money into this thing over and over again that it still exists, and that we have a facility, and that we have people who want to talk to us.
Here he's talking about Stavati Aerospace, claiming that if not for him, the company would be out of business, putting money in. But what's interesting is the company is being sued for, what is it, $1.5 million, David Wilcock? $1 million from the investors and hundreds of thousands of dollars from your creditors that you didn't pay.
And that we're dealing with these issues. It's up to me what I would want to do, you know? And if I wanted to get some huge house, that's fine. But like, I live in a modest home. It's 3,600 square feet here. And
a modest home that's 3,600 square feet. He lives in a modest home. Remember, he lives by himself, and it's a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom log cabin mansion with heated floors and a $4,000 brand new refrigerator, we found out. Remember, he was crying about his refrigerator, so noisy, it's driving him crazy. So somebody at a UFO conference gave him $4,000, which he promptly spent on a new refrigerator. Great. You can't make this shit up. It's so wacky.
This is my one place. I didn't want to lose this. I pay a mortgage. I don't own it. I had to go back to Los Angeles, and so I paid rent out there, and then I paid rent in Sedona, and now I'm back here. And I've never done a winter here before.
Yeah, we heard all the crying about surviving the winter in a $2 million mansion. It was so tough.
But I got to say that this house is really cool. It won Denver Architectural Digest. It got a centerfold spread when there was no other way that we.
Yeah, so he's telling everybody that he lives in a modest home. Does anybody else that live by themselves need a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house with 3 bathrooms? What do you need 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms for if you're trying to live modest, right? But this is the wacky world of Wilcock. Oh, this is a modest home. I don't even think my house is that big, and I have 2 children and a wife, and you know, but it is what it is. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. It doesn't have to make sense, right? Nothing makes sense in the wacky world of Wilcock. So I'm going to bring up our his latest stream here. We're going to begin to go through it. Not sure how much of it we're going to get through, but we're going to make an attempt to get through a good portion of it. We try to generally go through half. This is another 3.5-hour stream-a-thon of nonsense. You got to love it. Oh, and by the way, while we're speaking about threats and things like that, you may recall on the last episode of The Wacky World of Wilcock, which, by the way, has been forcibly taken down by a legal takedown request. There's more bullshit that we're dealing with. Some of you may recall that a woman, tarot reader, some number or something, I don't know, she came into our live chat and started threatening my show, my channel. She said she had an army of angels and they were going to take my channel down. And so I clicked on her user ID, and she had a YouTube channel. I went to her YouTube channel and I played 5 seconds of one of her videos. She hard copyright struck our channel, claiming that I violated her copyrights. Now, she lives in Spain, I believe. So if she wants to come to the United States and sue me in federal court in my jurisdiction, which is the great state of Pennsylvania, hey, I'll buy you some cheesesteaks, and I will, cheesesteaks, pretzels, tasty cakes, and I will welcome you to the great state of Pennsylvania. And there I will inform the judge in that case that the only reason I showed a portion of your video is to show my audience who was in our live chat threatening me. I have completed a counter notification citing fair use. And for those unaware, the way that works, she issued a hard strike against my channel, a legal takedown request, claiming I violated her copyright for sharing 5 seconds of one of her videos, even though there was a fair use banner on the bottom, and and we talked over it. We didn't violate her copyright. So for those unaware, what's going to happen now is she either has to show YouTube the proof that she's suing me in my jurisdiction in Pennsylvania in the United States, or the strike's going to go on her channel for filing a false legal takedown. It is what it is. It's sucks that we're facing this kind of stuff. And that's one of David Wilcock's unhinged lunatic followers. We want to thank Rotary Motion for a kind and generous £1 and for being a member. Thank you. We're starting the praising the cash off early. And we want to thank JJ for a kind and generous £5. two of my friends from across the pond. Thank you very much, both of you, for your kindness, your generosity, and support, and of course for helping us to
raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Thank you, Rotary Motion, and thank you, JJ. All right, so we're going to get into this David Wilcock latest stream. I realize that I suppose some of these people get so angry at me for saying that their heroes are lying, grifting scumbags that they want to threaten me. They want to shut me up. They want to attack me. But it's a really bad idea to file false legal claims against me. And it's a really stupid idea to literally threaten me in writing. I don't know if that's a real name or what, but we do know that that person runs something called the UAP Nexus. And he uses the same name there, at Mike Newman, 1966 on Twitter. Interesting that this guy is dumb enough, apparently, to threaten people across interstate lines with his legal name. And now we have a capture of those threats. And I will pursue that with Facebook and whoever else I need to. Yeah, just par for the course, you know. We're here making so many wackadoos upset and cry that they want to lash out and threaten me. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Freak out on Sleestack. Oh, I had this queued wrong. Sorry. All right, let's get into this David Wilcock streamathon of nonsense, and I'll give you a little preview. He's so desperate for material that now he's reading like shit that he wrote in high school, just like he did in the last stream. And he's so desperate for new material, he had visions of his time in the secret space program now. Now, never mind you that he did a whole show about the secret space program and never mentioned that he himself was part of the secret space program. For 8 years he did that with Corey Good, but he needs new material. So suddenly he just remembered, oh yeah, I was in the secret space program. And it gets crazy and wacky. He claims they murdered him over and over again and put him back together or something. Oh my God, it's so stupid. Who feels like joining a UAP Facebook group? Yeah. This guy is unhinged, though. I don't want to do anything to poke a bee's nest there, Garagi, but I appreciate the support. Nice of you to want to help me or defend me, but I think we should leave. Sometimes you got to leave the wackadoos alone. You don't want to upset them more, right? Here we go. The wacky world of Wilcock. Golden showers and
oh yeah, it's me. It's your buddy. It's your pal. It's your guy with the creepy little shirt that he saved from when he was 5 years old, which now
that
seems
is creepy.
to be even more creepy than it was before, due to things like blood red cuffs and this very strange design. Well, look, I got my Trump slippers standing by. They're ready to serve. You know, if you need the armor of Trump
oh my
to
God.
feel brave enough to do a show like this,
Cringe is
if
having
my feet need
little
them,
kids' pajamas.
I'll put them on.
He is reaching a new level of creepy.
Fetish whip today.
And a fetish whip.
I've got
little kids' pajamas and a fetish
glasses.
whip.
So once we are ready to whip you, we will wear the purple glasses. That means that the demonic session is over. There's going to be a little part with a demonic poem. So I'll put these on. I'll wave the whip, and it means it's safe. So you can scroll ahead if you're a coward.
Yeah.
And you don't want to hear the demon
Not
poem.
my rabbit hole. Harry Joyce
is here. Go through
He's
today.
Losing it. You think?
I'm in a good mood, you know.
Showing people kids'
I've had a
pajamas
great week. There's been a lot of really cool
toys,
things that have happened.
Harry Joyce.
And as you know, the United States military has been promoting really what I consider to be the new posts like we saw in 2017.
I agree, Chris Johansson.
Of course, there's over almost 5,000 of the posts. But now if you go to Twitter, which they've now actually, as of today, it's now x.com. I'm very proud of you guys. Congratulations, Elon, everybody else. It is now x.com. The links
Congratulations, Elon. Like he knows.
That doesn't break the old links. I'm sure
like he knows Elon Musk or something.
But anyway, the show topic today,
I agree with you,
GCW. Is my teenage
absolutely.
Visions of the secret space program and Ascension. And I have to say, whoops, there we go. We're on one now.
Yes, this is White Hat.
I'm very happy today because, frankly, the world that I grew up in was pockmarked with these dreams that were very intense. And
Oh
those
boy,
dreams
intense
were very
dreams.
sci-fi oriented, and it made me feel like, I'm just too bored by conventional entertainment. Certain things came along that really shocked me once in a while. We'll talk about Land of the Lost. We'll talk about Buck Rogers. We'll talk about the television show V.
Oh
But
my
for the most
God.
part, I was stuck with just an annoying life where I'm having these dreams that are very fascinating about spaceships and travel out of, our solar system. Some of them were very horrible. Some of them involved reptilians, and some of them involved human ETs.
Oh boy, human ETs
So
and the
I'm not
reptilians butt banging them.
all that surprised, actually, that Michael eventually told me, Archangel Michael, as you'll find out again about, that I was
You're right.
actually put through something like this. Apparently, if you have a UFO abduction, you can get this experience where you can be taken somewhere else and then brought back to when you
He is
first
saying
left.
some
So you
sick
might be
things.
gone. Apparently, the limit is up to 20 years. It could be a lot less than that, but it could still be years at a time. And I
He
literally
hasn't
do
sniffed
years
yet.
at a
Says,
time.
"Wise
In other
monkey,
words,
something's off."
somebody from the
Don't worry,
DS
he
could
will.
abduct you, and they could have their way with you and do all sorts of abuse and torture, and then that could take years, and then they bring you back, and you
Rotary motion, send
go right
cash.
back to the
That's
night
my
you left.
message to
Now, when
everyone
this was
too,
happening
though.
to me,
So,
I
praise
wrote
the
about it
cash,
in my book,
bitches.
Ascension Mysteries. The whole first half of Ascension Mysteries kind of sets up the story of something I didn't know I was
Yeah,
setting
he
up.
talked about it through an entire
But
book,
the
how much
point
he was
is that
bullied
when I
as a
finally
child.
got through all this stuff, and I went back and looked at it,
He's definitely going bald. That
it's
forehead's
like,
getting huge. Look at
I
how
did have these fevers.
look
when
at
I was
how-
a kid. I would wake up in the middle of the night.
I hate to
geometric
comment on his
hallucinations. I talk
appearance,
about that
but since so many in my audience do, look how big his forehead is. But I don't have too much room to talk. My widow's peaks are getting bigger.
Book. Everything looked like it was in a grid, black and
But
white.
I'm holding
tiles.
on. I'm holding
Sometimes
on.
the tiles would be
Still
falling off the roof.
Pretty good hairline
I had a very frightening hallucination one
All my
time in
friends
a
went
fever
bald at
where
20.
my roof was missing and I could see the stars. This actually is a very commonly reported thing in UFO abduction cases. They apparently
agree.
can dematerialize
Admiral
your roof and
Rascals.
just take you right out through the roof.
It could
In
dematerialize
that
your
same
roof.
vision, I actually did see my father come running into the room, and this was real. He was running into the room because I was screaming. This is what usually would happen when I have these fevers.
David needs to
4 or
come
5
out,
times
says
a year.
Patty.
My father came running into the room screaming because I was screaming, and
Yeah,
then he
for-
slipped on my Kleenex box, and he
For those unaware, David Wilcock in his last stream said that when he tried to have sex with a woman, he got physically ill. Patty Wilhelm commenting, David needs to come out. It's 2024. Well, I don't want to speculate on his sexuality, Patty, but if trying to have sex with a woman makes you physically ill, that may be a sign of homosexuality, that you're just not into women. But that's just my opinion.
he fell. But as he ran into the room, I saw a reptilian. He was a reptilian humanoid. And this would have had to have been about 1978 that happened, 1979 roughly.
So the alien.
There was also a
Bracelet,
gorilla
Elvis
coming out of
House.
my closet. I had these terrifying hallucinations of what looked like
There's gorillas
headed worms,
coming out of the
white worms
closet.
around my bed, and there was flames.
White
around my bed.
worms.
A holographic thought projection nightmare like nothing before. So I always knew I
Some
had
women
these
are,
space
yeah.
dreams, and
Yeah.
I had some nightmares that were incredibly bad. We're going to go through those today. But then in other cases,
What
I
did the
had very
Kleenex
positive
box
stuff
do?
going
Once you
on
go
where I was meeting
reptilian, you
with
can never go back.
angelic humans, and once I saw Star Wars in, I guess, 1977.
The woman he was in the bed with,
Obi-Wan
how
Kenobi.
big was
So
her
I had
wing
lots and
wang?
lots of Obi-Wan Kenobi dreams. When Mork and Mindy was playing on television,
Oh
I
my
had
God,
tons
he's
of
talking about
dreams
Mork and Mindy now.
about the scenes at the end of Mork and Mindy where
Speedos.
he's talking to his extraterrestrial.
JJ loves his
overseer,
camera changes.
And I had, and the overseer would always make funny jokes, and Mork would be talking to him and say funny things. And the comedy didn't really sit with me, but I remember being
I
so
think he
blown
did.
away
Yes.
every time
Absolutely,
I saw
troll.
Mork and
He's
Mindy,
definitely
thinking
having
to
sex with
myself,
Corey's female clones.
there's something going on here about his ET people talking to him, because I kept having dreams. Like every time I'd see Mork and Mindy every week, I'd have dreams afterwards where somebody was communicating to me like they did to Mork.
I liked
Mork.
Mork and Mindy.
So what
And
I
that
want
part
to
at the
propose to
end
you
where
guys,
he
as I've done
talked
on
about the
many other
lesson that he
occasions,
learned,
is that, there's
it was
there's
good
an absolute
TV.
reason for why I have things like this.
I don't know. I saw it in
Ruby
rerun.
shirt, once again, how did I save this from when I was 5 years old? Well,
He's
I
showing
saved it
people
because I
creepy
had out-of-body
pajamas,
experiences.
children's pajamas.
And that particular one shocked me so much. I was wearing these pajamas. I decided never to wear them again. Now I'm starting to wonder if my
Could be,
subconscious might have
Garazi.
had some
Yes.
other
Thanks for being a
ideas.
member.
So I have a lot of material to get through this week. So I want to really
Yes,
plunge
he is
into
a
this
master of
headlong.
camera angles. Definitely.
And the first thing we're going to do is talk about.
I'm
the
going to work
Shadow
on
of
that
Ezra
myself.
post
We need 7
that
cameras.
ties in something that I had mentioned to you guys
I got 2
not too
here.
long ago,
I don't have
which
7.
was the Jimmy connection. And I won't say his last name, but the Jimmy and Charles connection. So sure enough, Ezra revealed this
Could be,
on
yeah.
May 14th. It says King Charles' relationship with blankety blank.
They say
Jimmy.
there's truth in their show.
BBC let Jimmy get away with abusing over 500 kids and abusing bodies, according to the Washington Post article on June 27, 2014. King Charles once said in a loving note in a card to Jimmy, "Your country will never know what you've done for it." And you can see here, this has had 656,000 views. Whoa. So this, I believe, is the U.S. military and intelligence community, as well as that of most of the world.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure I put on the record, it's really ridiculous that people like Corey Good and David Wilcock are using childhood sexual abuse in their grifts. This man is scamming people for money, and he's going to claim that he was abused as a child and trafficked and all of this stuff. It's really insulting to real victims of sex trafficking and real victims of childhood sexual abuse, which is a horrific thing. The fact that they don't have any like moral problem like involving that in their grifts and scams pretty much tells you everything you need to know about what kind of people they are from a moral or ethical perspective. Who would do that? A scumbag would do that.
Kind of the replacement or the next level of the posts, and I highly encourage you to keep going to
get
X
with the shadows
click
of
on this
Ezra.
name, because you have to click on the name to read all the posts. You're not going to get them in your
He's following
daily
the
email feed. They're posting
Telegram
multiple times a
channel,
day for the
Twitter
most
channel,
part.
Shadows of
They've
Ezra.
been doing a great job, and they're getting lots and lots of views. Some of these are going up to 5 million views now. So this was interesting because this particular one tied in very heavily.
He's sharing
with something I
Qtard
announced
posts
a couple weeks ago.
Even diehard
If you go back
Qtard
to
people
maybe
gave
3
up on
shows back or
Qtard
something
stuff
like
by
that, I
now.
was
Not
talking about
David
this
Wilcock.
guy,
He's that dumb.
and I said he created the world's first smellable photo. And I said that Jimmy is, there was a whistleblower article from express.co.uk.
The garbage
Two
rag.
different whistleblowers independently came forward and said that they were put in a room. Everybody was wearing robes and masks. They were using candles. And, oh, by the way, they were chanting Ave Satanas, which means Hail Satan. Now, we didn't hear about the rest of what happened. And apparently the story becomes hard to believe after this point. However, part of what we're having to learn these days is that apparently these people in the elite do believe that they have access
Yes, a scumbag, Terry
to
Joyce.
some
Absolutely.
sort of spiritual force. And this is a spiritual force that projects as what appear to be living entities that appear in the room with you.
Chuck Bam says, I know nothing
those
about
entities
Boeing.
actually destroy and mutilate a victim. And so I have a poem about that. And when we get to that point, it's going to be no kids. And I will put on my glasses and fetish whip after we're done. So if you're a coward, you don't have to listen to it. But the reason I decided to bring that element in is that this is something that the elites take very seriously. It's like a weird backdoor magic trick built into the laws of our galaxy that if you do these ceremonies the right way, it's very precise, then what happens is you actually get results. And we also saw recently that the DS themselves apparently
I don't know if I think he does believe it, Mike.
Which had been
thanks for your comment. Thanks for being a member.
By none other than
he's scraping the Q barrel.
the legendary one and only Aleister Crowley. And we didn't really know why everybody was so into Crowley, but apparently in 1917 is when he made contact with Lam. And this is a being that taught him how to do these ceremonies properly, so the magic works, and you get to see one of these entities. Now, before this, it would only work a few times a year. You had to have the right astrological alignments. The planets are very important.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that
some
rotary
type of
motion.
Phenomenon.
What's going on with that?
Normally...
Did he take it down now? Did he take the stream down? I don't know. I haven't checked in with Jeremy. I was trying to get Mick West to debate alien scientist Jeremy Rise on 9/11, but Mick West wasn't he wasn't interested. And I don't know. His latest live stream doesn't appear to be the one that you're talking about. So we'd have to, I suppose, come back to that, right? Yeah, let's continue with our Wilcock bullshit journey. We're 10 minutes in, and so far he's said nothing.
It doesn't live in physicality. It lives in time space, which is a weird kind of thought form realm that you can go to when you die or when you're having a dream.
He does close-ups for the more crazy emotional parts. Yeah,
normally can't get
he does a close-up when he's ready to cry too, JJ.
People do the right things and they lend their creative
which shows
energy,
it's very staged when he cries.
Power that we all have. You can visualize.
I agree with you, Chris Johansson. He's just like a televangelist.
As we've been saying, the entities like Lam, which these people just tried to summon during the solar eclipse.
Just look up David Wilcock if you want to listen to it without commentary.
Me in a very grotesque way. It was obviously a death threat. I took it like a man, and I just made jokes about it. What else can you do? I mean, you either
wants to get
paid going or you stop, and I'm just going to keep going, man. I'm just okay. Well, let's go ahead and send him in here, but I think I can kick his ass. I mean, I found out later on the Greys can be very, very strong. Gray extraterrestrials have supernatural strength.
Grifting beavers these days.
Even if he didn't have any other powers. But I think I could take him. Let's just put it that way. So then we had another strange thing go down, which was this portrait of Prince Charles.
Yeah, I think he plays the camera in the
very bloody.
Internet.
And then Ezra put this up. If you mirror the picture of his new painting, you see something interesting.
It is kind of skillful, JJ.
Notice the view count on the
griftology.
Bottom right, folks. That's 2.
He ought to sell a $333 course in griftology.
What you have here is a very creepy.
Help other grifters grift. Figure out how to grift.
2.1 million views. This went viral. Everybody starts doing funny stuff about it.
Yes, exactly. If I don't do the commentary, we'll get a copyright strike.
Lindsay Adamus said that painting of Charlie is creepy, huh? I wonder what would happen if you mirrored it. I am sure this is just a conspiracy. Well, she didn't give credit to Ezra. I usually do. And I think that's a good move to make, but you do it how you want. But anyway, this triggered a wave of comedic memes.
He kept choking on an 8-inch clitoris. Yes. Skeptic meets believer. Thanks for being a member.
Hanging out with his blood red friend Charles. And again,
by the way, I just want to mention, be sure that you smash that subscribe button because Mike Larry and others and people have been gifting memberships. And if you are a subscriber, but not yet a channel member, when people gift memberships, you have a very good chance of getting a free membership to our channel. So be sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. You'll know when we're doing one of these live tapings for the podcast.
Why would they make this portrait? Why would they put these subliminal images in it? And why would they care? Well, it's
the Grays pump Wilcock's ass. Poor guy. You need to use lube.
They want you to think that they could come
bare
after
butt
you.
banging without lube must be terrible.
They're just going to be an ostrich. This one was so funny. I have to put this in there. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a conspiracy theorist are you? And then
people put them in the picture.
So first they have the Ezra thing, and then they post in good old Nancy Pelosi. Let's read some of your comments now.
David Wilcock has his own conspiracy since
somebody
high-speed
says,
chase.
with all the fear porn out there, I can enjoy David. He leaves me on a positive note. I pray he is correct, because if he isn't, we are not long for this planet. Praise be to God. He will be late as his usual self. 11 to 12 minutes is typical. No, I was actually on time today. Nice jugs. It's okay. Well,
yeah.
Do not call them elite. There are no such things as elites.
I agree.
To call them.
You should do a show on Jackie Gleason, who was a big fan of UFOs and the paranormal. Well, sure.
They do refer to the term elites in the Law of One, and I agree with you in principle. Yes, that's absolutely true. So, yeah, it's pretty hilarious. The Nancy thing is really hilarious. I mean, I love it. I love it.
It's hilarious.
So anyway, then they made a really strange warning about the Vatican, and this is where it's like, oh man.
Remember,
not only do they have to try to send Lam
he's talking about a Q-tard posting on Twitter as if this is real, and it's just so crazy.
Come and abduct me.
Everybody gave up on Q-tard nonsense already, David Wilcock. Everybody but you and Shadows of Ezra. And by the way, I don't care what he says. Shadows of Ezra doesn't even know who Wilcock is, and Wilcock's making all kinds of claims that he's the head of the Alliance Communications Bureau or some shit. It's so stupid.
Me or do what? I don't know what he's going to do. But then they try to say, well, you know, that whole thing about David Wilcock talking about the Virgin Mary at Garabandal and that the skies are going to turn into the Aurora Borealis, and then sure enough, 3 days later, it actually happens. There is the biggest solar event since the Carrington event, or so they said.
He never said the
1859.
skies were going to turn into
Well, the Vatican's
Aurora
got to step
Borealis.
in and say,
He's
no, we don't want
making
David
this
to
shit
ever actually be credible. Okay, you guys,
David
I
is
accept
about as credible as a
your
crackhead.
opinion as your opinion, but I'm just going to continue doing what I do. I wasn't asking for a professional endorsement from the Vatican or anybody else. I don't need one. But this was really, really
The Vatican doesn't even
targeting
know
me.
who
I
the
couldn't
hell
even
he
believe it.
is.
Check this out, you guys. Wow. And anybody, by the way, anybody who says,
Oh, here we go. We're going to get into this comment he's going to make here. Oh, we want to thank High Speed Chase, who just gifted 5 True Seekers memberships. Like I said, you got to hit that subscribe button. If you hit that subscribe button now, you might have a chance to get one of those free 5 gifted memberships. Thank you very much for your kindness, generosity, and support, High Speed Chase. Zizix with a kind, generous $2. Humans are prison food on other planets. And V gifted 1 True Seekers membership. Thank you, V, for your kindness, generosity, and support. We want to thank all 3 of you for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. And, of course, for helping us to praise the cash. I wore the right shirt today.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Yes, we will praise it. Thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support, especially because of these copyright claims and strikes, we can't monetize sometimes. I don't know. This one seems like it might get through the copyright claim process. But we thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. Now he's going to say a bunch of shit.
doing what I do. I wasn't asking for a professional endorsement from the Vatican or anybody else. I don't need one.
The Vatican doesn't even know who David Wilcock is. His sense of self-importance is so bloated that he thinks that the Vatican held that press conference because of shit that he said on his stupid live streams.
But this was really, really strongly targeting me. I couldn't even believe it. Check this out, you guys. Wow. And anybody, by the way, anybody who says, oh, you know, Ezra despises David Wilcock, well, why would the U.S. military, first of all, turn away volunteers? The whole point.
Oh, and this is great. He starts saying that he's a military volunteer here. Somehow he's claiming that he's a military volunteer here.
Is that you enlist in the military. This is a volunteer form of military service I'm doing.
Did you hear what he just said? This is a volunteer form of military service that I'm doing here on my show. This is a volunteer form of military service.
And I'm risking my life and I'm being publicly threatened. So that
he's risking his life and he's being publicly threatened. Yeah. High Speed Chase says he's been a member for 4 months. You get a free message every once in a while. I want to see Wilcock on bath salts. I would pay good money to see David Wilcock on bath salts. High Speed Chase. Praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Somebody send him some bath salts. We got to make that happen.
I'm trying to bring out aircraft like these, you know, the fact that these.
Oh, now he's going to show us his G.I. Joe toys again.
We're doing these products. We're getting things to happen.
They're not. They're G.I. Joe toys that he made on a 3D printer. Don't they look like G.I. Joe toys?
These are 3D printed in my garage.
They're not real. They're plastic toys, David.
On anti-gravity-free energy.
Stupid.
And that's the greatest danger you have in any of this stuff that you could ever do on Earth, is to try to get the forbidden technology out. So I'm doing all the right things. I'm not greedy. I only am asking for a very small amount of the company. It's surprising how little of it I have, actually. So it's not about profit for me. It's about saving the planet. And I've also written a number of books, as somebody just said. The books that David wrote
is no different.
Somebody says it looks like the Baphomet face when it's tipped upside down. Yeah, I think that's true. So anyway, the point
Admiral
is,
Rascal says, I think Wilcock may already be on bath salts. Yes.
Tomorrow is the day. I'm going to read it up close, but notice it says May 15th, 2024. And we're going to zoom in a little bit because I just couldn't even believe this.
Yeah, 3D medbed was too hard to print. Sandra McDonald, thanks for being a member.
Tomorrow is the day when the Vatican will publish its new norms for discerning apparitions and other supernatural phenomena. The last time the Vatican's doctrinal office issued norms for evaluating alleged apparitions and reports of supernatural events, which we just had with the solar flash after we talked about it, was in February 1978 under Pope Paul IV. That document, Norms Regarding the Manner of Proceedings in the Discernment of Presumed Apparitions or Revelations, was released due to the increased influence of mass media. Then this is where it gets really crazy, you guys. I'm just like, whoa.
Now
It
remember, he
actually
believes
says
that the Shadows
Saint
of Ezra is posting because of
Virgin
him.
Mary or Christ himself, that they're trying
Could
to
be
make
that two people
guidelines
that are
about.
posting similar garbage.
Basically, what they end up saying
has
is,
to
we don't
mean
believe
something.
you, and we're not going to let any bishop or priest believe you that you were in touch with a saint. Saint Michael the Archangel, of course, is the saint I'm in touch with, and Saint Lucia.
I agree,
Both
Wise
of them.
Monkey.
They're the authors of Michael prophecies. The Virgin Mary or Christ himself. Well, what are we talking about? We're talking about Saint Michael the Archangel appearing at Garabandal with the Virgin Mary, channeling the essence of the Christ, telling us,
yes, the dome
there's going to
design
be
was
this warning where everybody gets a psychedelic
it's all about
activation
profit
of
for
consciousness.
Wilcox. Absolutely.
And then after the
He's
warning
praised the
comes
cash better
either
than anybody.
chastisement, which
Him and
is
Stephen
apparently a
Greer are
solar
the top
flash
tier
amongst the
grifters
earth,
in the UFO
or
world.
there is a miracle.
It's my
And I
opinion. I'm
believe the
entitled to
miracle
it.
is that many people will start to become what the Zoroastrians call Saushians.
Oh, you won't need that.
messiahs.
It's
The word
magic.
Mashiach or Messiah in Hebrew was always intended to be plural, and that was one of the things
Armed
Gordon
services
Ekko
would never
talked about.
recruit him, says the
People
great
have gotten all
Snafu.
hung up on the
He
idea
is
that
a
they're
Section
waiting
8.
for one
Thanks for
Messiah.
being a
Well, it's a
member.
lot more than that. It's a lot more than that.
He's been rolling
So
up
this
his
is
note
really,
last
really
few minutes
bizarre
while
because
off
look
screen.
at where this goes next.
Rolling up his nose.
Now remember, this was written by Shadow of Ezra, and some people are trying to create these fake things where they emailed him and then he said, "Oh no, I hate David Wilcock."
But nobody did that. He's lying through his teeth here. He's absolutely lying through his teeth. Okay, 1 second here. I gotta find it. I had it here. Oh, I have to get more organized friends. So somebody did email Shadows of Ezra, and they don't know. They don't even know who David Wilcock is or why he is using. They don't know why he's using his material. And I'm going to share that here with you. And he says that people are lying. Nobody messaged him. Here's the messages from Shadows of Ezra, David Wilcock. You're lying through your fake teeth to your stupid audience members. He is now directly saying you are part of the alliance, and he's responsible for the views you are getting. Shadows of Ezra, I've never spoken to him. David is live. Now he's saying that you are watching him and using his info for your posts. Every week he keeps pushing more and more. Shadows of Ezra says, thank you. Once again, I have nothing to do with David Wilcock. I don't even know who he is, to be honest. So David Wilcock is claiming all of this stuff that Shadows of Ezra is posting just to him or based on his information, and Shadows of Ezra is getting all these millions of views because of David Wilcock. Shadows of Ezra says, I don't even know who he is. I just showed you the message, and now David Wilcock's lying through his teeth saying that nobody messaged him and that people are lying.
I don't know what this guy is doing. Da 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 da. It's pissing me off. Why is he using my material? No. It's the military. They want you to enlist. They're not going to turn you away if you show up at the enlistment recruitment office. Now
David Wilcock is showing up at he's performing military service by doing these live streams somehow. It's so stupid.
They certainly, I give them credit. That's the main thing, right? Like, what always would annoy me is if people stole my work and then they don't give me credit. That way you don't know where the information came from. So I'm trying to do the best I can here, but this was written by them, and it precisely duplicates the running theme of my shows, which is Fatima, Portugal, 1917. There was a big disc in the sky that created all these colors, and it looked like the sun. It was a metal disc. It zigzagged around, and then it actually fell out of the sky, looked like it was going to crash into people, and they all screamed, and then it went back up into the sky, and it was releasing all these bursts of colored light, much like the Aurora Borealis, much like we expect the solar flash will do, much like we saw last week. And then all 90,000 people in the crowd had their clothes miraculously dry at the end, and they were soaked to the skin.
It's a miraculous dry cleaning.
So something technological happened. And so this is an officially confirmed Vatican miracle. The Fatima prophecies are not disputed. The Garabandal, they don't really like because the Virgin Mary said, we don't like what some of these priests and bishops are doing. And many of them are involved in our practices. So the Vatican's
doing the sniffing again.
So Garabandal, we're just going to kind of leave it there, but we don't really like it. But again, the kids were giving off the smell of perfume. They were manifesting communion wafers in their mouths. They could lean on sharp rocks without.
How much of each of these streams is he just repeating the same nonsense over and over again? Is it just me, or does he repeat the same nonsense again with the Mary apparition and the perfume smell and
crying? All kinds of weird supernatural stuff happened at Garabandal, and it was authored by Archangel Michael and Virgin Mary, which is the same source of the Michael prophecies. And
we did a show yesterday. I think he's full of shit, Rotary Motion.
There's going to be a first wave of ascension, which is exactly
he's talking about the Galactic Federation and
so again, this is
Eisenhower making pacts with the gray aliens. He's a wackadoo.
Mainstream publication of what I consider to be the Alliance.
Miraculous dry cleaning confirmed.
Look at what they said here.
Yes, he considers Shadows of Ezra a Q-Tar poster to be the Alliance.
Appearances by the Virgin Mary to several peasant children that promised a public miracle. Tens of thousands of people in Fatima, Portugal,
because of the solar storm,
claimed to witness the sun move erratically across the sky and produce radiant colors for several minutes. Whoa, that's exactly what I've been talking about. They didn't
every
say
time he pauses.
I'm glad they don't mention my name because it would make my life a lot more complex and difficult right now.
They don't even know who he is. He's saying, I'm glad they don't mention my name.
Precisely what I've been talking about. This time it appears
that the
guidelines will be about.
There is a Vatican conference about this very thing. That's why this guy is posting about it. But David Wilcock is claiming he's posting about it because David Wilcock talked about it. Talk about a bloated sense of self-importance. And another one, a kind and generous $5 from High Speed Chase, one of the MVPs of gifting free memberships. And a big friend of the show. We thank you, High Speed Chase, for two things: being a member and for the kind and generous $5 and helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, we're going to continue.
About an instance in which a divine entity, such as a saint, the Virgin Mary, or Christ himself, it's kind of genderless, makes itself known to a person on. Okay,
Zizix,
probably imagine.
Thanks for putting a smile on my face. Zizix with kind and generous $2 super chat. Thanks for that and being a member. Says David Wilcock is why no one likes hermits. Thank you for your kindness. Longtime show supporter Zizix.
Because this was an obvious tie-in to the Michael prophecies, and I'm like,
this is an obvious tie-in to the Michael prophecies.
I didn't know if the Vatican might actually support what I'm doing. Wouldn't that be crazy? If they throw a big monkey wrench into the whole thing and they say, you know what? We believe David Wilcock is in touch with Archangel Michael and Virgin Mary.
Yeah. And, the Pope is going to endorse his grift, talking to angels and Mary.
It happened on Thursday, so I'm just bracing for impact.
He's bracing for impact, hoping that the Vatican and the Pope are going to co-sign his New Age scam that he's telling people that he's talking to the angels and Mary, and he thinks the Vatican just might be holding that press conference to let the world know that David Wilcock is in communication with the Archangel Michael. No, you're a grifter, David Wilcock. You're a con artist, New Age guru loser. They're not going to endorse you scamming people. In fact, David Wilcock, you could talk to any Catholic priest, and once they were informed of what you were doing, they would rebuke you. They would tell people that you are a false prophet. That is most likely, I grew up with Jesuit priests educating me. I know what they would say about this situation. And I even reached out to a priest friend and informed him of you and your various claims of talking to angels. I showed him the proof that you and your angel channeled messages have already been wrong, and he agreed with me. You don't pass the test of a prophet. A prophet of God or a prophet in communication with angelic sources cannot be wrong once, or it's proof they are not in communication with angelic sources. You've been wrong multiple times, many, many times. A Catholic priest, any Catholic priest being informed of your situation would tell people you are a false prophet who is most likely in communication with demonic trickster entities masquerading as angelic beings. That's what they would say. But David Wilcock thinks that the Vatican might endorse his claims, right? Yeah, help you sell a lot of books.
Impact,
sure.
How do I handle this if they actually want to take the path of trying to butter me up and endorse this and say this is a modern day miracle? I'm like, well, I'm not going to just fall in line.
Oh yeah, David Wilcock talking to angels is
they give me publicity.
It's a
Same
miracle.
thing would
I
be the
need
case
money.
with the
Suddenly I'm
King
talking to
stuff.
angels. It's a
And
miracle.
you know, I'm not just going to blindly be the King David they want me to be and go along with whatever they want me to do just because I got some huge endorsement, which I did. If you go back about 5 shows, I talked about that. So again, this was a
What
very
huge
obvious
endorsement did
tie-in
he
to the
get?
Michael prophecies from the
Not an
Alliance,
obvious
the mouthpiece of
tie-in.
the Alliance.
The
It will
mouthpiece
never
of the
stop people
Alliance,
from
a
forging
QTAR
him
channel.
and acting like he hates me. And you're
QTAR
gonna keep
Twitter
seeing that online. So
account is
just
the
know that they've
Alliance
given you the
Communications
definitive
Manager.
Trump card, to ensure that you know the truth, that this is what's really going on. You ever notice how sometimes
agree with
water
you,
is
Wise
just so
Monkey.
delicious? You drink it and it's just like, oh, I have the best water in North America here. We're in, the
Typical snake oil
8,600 foot
salesman who
altitude.
travels from town to town
I just
selling
got
his
new water
bottles.
the other day.
I agree.
It is so good. It's multidimensional. I gotta have another. It's so amazing.
Oh, thank you, JJ. Kind
I
and
wish you
generous
could have this water.
£5 super chat. Thank you for
Anyway,
helping us to praise the cash, friends.
Praise the cash, praise
So
the
what's
cash,
going
praise
on
the
is
cash.
that there are a lot of other posts that they've made, and the whole point
What's
is they
going
want us
on
to be
here?
focusing on this stuff right now, the disturbing content. So the next one that we saw was on May the 15th, the Rothschilds' Temple of Apollo. I wonder what they do in there. I can't imagine what it could be. Anthony J. Hitler visited the R estate in England at a
I
glass
agree, Billy
pyramid
Hicks. It's
where it is
sad.
allegedly said that E's gather. See, I'm listening to you guys, to wear ceremonial robes and pay homage to Uncle
Good
Lou
idea.
for their very rich, worldly, powerful positions. The locals refer to this area as the Temple of Apollo. So once again, it could very well be that they're getting this magic trick to work in there and that they're seeing something.
Oh, they're doing magic
Now,
tricks.
whatever they see, again, it destroys a victim, and then it also communicates telepathically. These beings do not speak. They cannot make English speech, but they can communicate telepathically. So somebody in the group usually is an instrument for them. They call that the...
That's biblically wrong, too. Angels can speak, according to multiple stories in the Bible.
Palladian rite, where you become the glove of Lucifer, and Lucifer speaks through you. And that's what they do to people in the room. So I've heard about this type of channeling. It's apparently very bad. It makes
Dave's wife,
it
boyfriend
hurts
be
your
peeing
mind.
on him,
It hurts
says
your
King
body.
James. Could be.
You feel nervous. You can't breathe very well.
Show me the
There's a
bacon.
presence that grabs onto you and holds you while you're doing this. It's not a good thing. And this is nothing at all like what happened with
I agree.
Archangel Michael, Virgin Mary. In my own experience, this is the opposite side of that, the very bad side.
Now he's talking to the Virgin Mary, too.
Well, then we had,
Not just the Archangel Michael.
You can figure out what's going on here.
It does.
And this had 112,000 views, not bad at all. Then we have the Slovakian prime minister, very sad. He gets shot.
Got to
and
tie
it's
that
obviously
in.
extremely suspicious. So the first one they said is
Electric
on October
Samurai. You
23,
really
the
think
new
that?
Prime
Or are you
Minister of
being
Slovakia,
sarcastic?
Robert Fico, announced he would immediately stop delivering arms to
Yes.
you.
What language do you
He will
communicate
no
in
longer supply
telepathically?
arms to you.
Leash.
The
Thanks for
war
being a
in
member.
you
He
is
actually
not
believes
ours.
his
We
own
have nothing to
BS.
do with it. Then in January of this year, he said the only way to end Russia's war against you is for K to give up some of its territory to the invaders, and reiterated his opposition to NATO membership. Whoa. He also called the WHO's treaty
If you say
a
so, Electric Samurai.
fabrication by big P companies, and said it would threaten his country's national sovereignty.
David, the Messiah complex
$5.
grifter.
Thank you very much.
You're right.
Oh, we got a synchronicity. She says, I had a huge synchronicity when you mentioned the Virgin Mary. A taco truck literally pulled up beside me at a red light with that mural on the side.
Oh my God, a taco truck.
$100 in NOK. I don't know how much or how little that is, but it sounds great. You rock, David. Keep it up and don't mind the bad Mughals. And then
Archangel
Rainey says
Wilcock,
we have a war
yes.
shrine in Melbourne, Australia,
Chilcock.
dedicated to Apollo. Dale's Gardens
Archdemon
Research.
Wilcock, says Trolley Troll.
So are the 3D planes available? Are the 3D files for the planes available for download? Well, that would be too easy for our competitors, so we're probably not going to do that. But anyway, the point is here that something very bad happened where he got shot and people attacked him. After he's gone after the wars and he's gone after the pharma. It was reported a few days ago Slovakia would not support the current version of the treaty or any draft amendments.
I agree.
To it. Well, then
I
they
agree,
wanted
Patty,
to play
100%.
FAFO, right? This is the next one that came out. On January 23rd, 2024, the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, grabbed global attention by announcing a criminal investigation into his own government's handling of the big disease and the corrupt practices responsible for
That's
the loss of
interesting.
lives among his citizens.
QCW
One of the very
witnessed an
few
apparition.
politicians in the world who would do this is currently in the hospital in critical condition. So once again, they want you to be afraid of them. They want you to know that they're willing to shoot to kill. I'm still here, you guys. You know, people in the comments control about this, but I don't see them doing a show like this. You have to have extraordinary bravery after stuff like this happens.
It takes extraordinary bravery to keep doing a YouTube show after somebody tried to assassinate the Slovakian prime minister. It takes extraordinary bravery for David Wilcock to stream this bullshit.
In the universe, they can't just kill you. You have to
Grifter.
authorize it, and that means that you've made unpleasant choices in your own life to some degree. I have no idea what happened with this guy. I'm just saying for myself.
You can read taco crumbs like
very
tea
obvious
leaves,
that I'm
you know?
involved with rules, and I get lots of karmic warnings if I'm falling off the path. So back
He
to the
gets
slide.
karmic warnings if he's falling
Next
off the
thing that
path.
happened-
Like, yo, don't you think the angel should say, like, stop grifting, stop scamming people and lying to people? You're not talking to me, you asshole. I hope the archangel Michael comes down from heaven and bitch slaps him. But that's just me, right?
happened
Maybe.
was really big. Starts on May the 17th, the same week, where the abuse footage from this particular rapper PD surfaces. And so
I don't know. He'll probably work in Admiral Rascals.
Post from
I
Daily
haven't listened
Real-Time
to all
News that
this.
first came out. CNN has
I'm hearing
obtained footage of
a
him
lot of this for the
repeatedly
first
beating
time.
his then girlfriend in a hotel hallway, and it is just insane. I mean, like, this is. I mean, I guess if you're ever going to actually look at physical violence, domestic violence, I mean, thank God, nothing like this has ever happened to me. But my God, you know, you got to put it
I
on
agree
a scale
100%.
in terms of like, well, how evil is it, and how
This
evil
is an excellent comment from QCW, who says, my problem with David is that his work is mostly about convincing people that he's important. His work doesn't produce any fruit. It's just entertainment. When he's done, I always walk away with nothing. Yeah, that's pretty much the way that the grift works. And people forget about the bullshit he said last year, and then he just says new bullshit. Zizix with a kind and generous $2 says, David needs 2 cats or dogs. I agree. He ought to praise the cash and buy himself a friend.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right, here we
the
go.
violence. And man, if somebody's on the ground and you pull your leg all the way back and then you try to kick them in the head, that's like the worst violence there is. That's attempted murder right there. So it's very, very bad. Why are we telling us all this? Well, it's because this is going to break everything
Tossed him
open. This
around
is
like
going to
the
become
video.
huge for us. Oh, Michael Jackson donated $1.99. He says, Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan, like, whoa, you must watch. And Melody Hart donated $10. Thank you both so much.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
probably
right there.
will, Anna Louisa.
So about
He
Terrence
weaves in
Howard, I'm
current
glad you
events.
brought this up. Terrence Howard and I, we're going to do a metaphysical show together at one point. He is the black star of the show Empire, very famous show on TV. He also played
Wackadoo
I guess
of the
his
Week
name was
Awards.
Rhodey in the first Iron
James
Man movie.
Rhodes. He played
And
War
then they actually
Machine.
replaced him with a different actor in Iron Man 2, which was very sad. But anyway, yeah, Terrence and I hung out together, and we got along really well. We were talking about getting a show together where we would both talk. He's very interesting metaphysical guy. His
Panhandling on the
favorite thing to
street.
say was, what happens when an unstoppable force comes in contact with an immovable object? And it's kind of like a koan or a paradox.
Yeah,
But
he's
anyway,
a bit of a wackadoo.
we got along very well. He really liked me, and I would be happy to work
Then he
with him
became
in some
wacko and
capacity.
became a
So
prophet. Yes.
Terrence is my man, and he's a brilliant dude.
They get nothing but a lighter wallet. Yes.
So the next thing that happens,
I wish
May
David Wilcock
17th
would get rid of
is
those ugly
that
lamps.
the
Says, troll,
Vatican
troll, troll.
now comes out with their big announcement. I'm like, uh-oh, what's this going to turn into? Where is this going? And so here it was. Vatican's procedures on supposed supernatural events, May 17th. Let's zoom in on that. The Vatican is now, I was so grateful.
You know,
By the
Terrence,
way, I was
take
so
my
grateful
money.
when this came
Yes.
out that they weren't saying, we think David Wilcock is in touch with Archangel Michael, the saint. Oh, thank God that didn't happen.
Oh, thank
I
God
would
they
not
didn't
want to deal with
endorse
that.
my
The
grift.
Vatican has tightened procedures for evaluating reported supernatural events. In a document replacing rules drawn up in 1978, The Vatican's Doctrinal Office, DDF, said bishops could no longer act independently when faced by reports of such supernatural phenomena and had to consult them before any investigation occurs. It also stripped bishops of the power to recognize the supernatural nature of apparitions and other purportedly divine events, leaving it to the Pope and the Central Vatican offices to, oh yeah, okay, right, centralized control. Nobody gets to be divine. And
It's great how he's able to put together a whole stream of bullshit by like just copying Telegram and Twitter posts from a QTAR channel, right? Like, and then look, he does the transparency, so his face is still in it.
they say it's okay.
Like,
Any
look,
type of supernatural phenomenon,
fresh
that occurs from
bullshit.
now
I
on
found it
will
on
be
Twitter.
decided by the Pope and the Central Vatican. Well,
So stupid.
that's no skin off my nose. You know, if you don't feel that this is real,
Yes, this is
that the Pope
exactly
says
what a
it is,
UFO
you know,
boner bros coke
go
habit
for
looks
it.
like.
But
Yes.
I don't really need that validation. I think that the work speaks for itself. It is kind of an interesting
It's a
Catholic
mood
miracle. Taiwan
modification
just sent me
lamp.
$300 in NT. Thank you very much.
Sniff.
And so, no, we're not going to make the
He
3D
sniffs when
designs
people
for the
send
plane available
a super chat.
because our foreign competitors would get them. So no,
All
we're not
right,
going to do
here's
that.
some money
Sorry.
for my
We are going to make them available as models that you can buy.
nose candy.
So anyway, this is a very weird thing, folks. It's basically saying, you know, and I'm sorry about the models thing, but it
Yeah,
really is a
you're
matter
probably
of
right.
national security.
Well,
I mean,
it's
they will
translated,
steal our
though.
stuff, so we just don't want to do that. Sorry.
The patron
later
saint
on
of
we can.
bullshit.
Any type of supernatural phenomenon will be
He's
decided
in touch
by
with
the
just
Pope
one
and the
thing,
Central
and it's getting
Vatican.
blisters.
And bishops
Oh,
do
no.
not have the power to recognize
I don't
the
know.
supernatural
People are saying he
nature
has
of divine
herpes.
events.
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, okay, well, if that's the way you guys want to run it,
Iranian
that's fine.
death,
It actually
metaphysics,
makes me
and the
feel a lot
Pope
better
with blue
because
chickens.
it's like
Yeah.
they're scared. They don't want this to go widespread. They've already set their position in stone.
Makes me
They do
depressed.
not want to acknowledge this, and probably part of the reason why is
Terry
that
Joyce says so
speaks very
manipulative.
favorably
He
of Donald
definitely
Trump,
is
speaks very
manipulative.
favorably
He's
of
a
Alliance,
manipulator of
speaks
people
unfavorably
for his
about
own-
global satanic
for
evil.
his own financial gain.
So, you know, maybe there's a reason why they don't like that. Who knows? So then 50 Cent makes
got
a
the
public
Joker
statement
perm
on
going
May
on.
the 18th about this whole P. Diddy situation. So first I'm going to read you what they wrote from the LA office of the DA. We are aware of the video that has been circulating online allegedly depicting Sean assaulting a young woman in LA. We find the images extremely disturbing and difficult to watch. If the conduct depicted occurred in 2016, unfortunately,
Shout louder
we are
if you want
unable
the
to charge
powder.
as it
Slam
occurred
down
beyond
those
the
super
timeline
chats.
where assault can be prosecuted.
He
As of
just loves the
today,
Colombian nose nachos. Yes.
law enforcement has not presented a case.
I think
related to
David
the attack
Wilcock
depicted
wins
in the
that
video
one, Cameron
against
T.
Mr.
But
Combs.
thanks for being a
But,
member.
woo, we encourage anyone who has been a victim or a witness to a crime to report it to law enforcement or reach out to our office for support. So it's kind of like they're telling you they want you to rat this guy out. It's coming from LA's own DA office. I mean, whoa.
Yeah, and I think it's really great that he's laughing about a video that depicts horrific domestic violence of a man viciously beating and stomping on a woman. And he's laughing about this. This is funny to him.
Like, nobody's done anything yet, right? Notice it says there, as of today, law enforcement has not presented a case related to the attack, but we encourage anyone who's been a victim
Could
to
be
report it.
QCW.
So they're basically telling her, please go report it, and then we can make
But
it
I think he's more likely a psychopath or a sociopath.
non-military, non-AARO.
I'm not a
donated
psychiatrist.
$5 right here, and he says,
I can't diagnose
seriously,
him.
his dream techniques allowed me to go lucid. I could remember my dreams after I read the
He
dream
is
book,
turning
and now
into
I'm
an
very
insect
grateful.
like Jeff
Thank you, non-military, non-AARO.
Bloomberg in The Fly.
All right.
Goldblum, you mean.
So this is pretty crazy, you guys. They're saying somebody please press charges, and I'm sure somebody's going to. And then 50 Cent said, this is why they put that tape out. They know they can't charge him with what we saw, but they also know we can't unsee what we saw. So then he comes out with an apology video. This was literally just posted today. He is now formally apologizing for his leaked video of him beating up his spouse or whatever girlfriend. There are so many other tapes which were confiscated by the FBI that the public may never see. Wink, wink, wink. These tapes may show, these tapes may show, notice the use of the word, him and other famous people doing incriminating things with you know what. This apology means nothing, and he
may use feminine hygiene products.
So, what they're
well,
saying
he's definitely
is
a douche.
We have all the evidence ready
King
to
James.
launch
Feminine
might be a
hygiene
whole lot
product.
of these tapes out there, folks. There might be a whole lot of them. Another really strange thing has happened. We almost got to the brink of World War III recently.
I agree,
Why?
Sandra.
Because
You could
Iran
be
did
rich
this
too.
really, really stupid thing.
Get
It
your
launched a
grift
whole
on.
bunch
Get
of
the
drones
grift
at Israel,
going.
and it was right during the eclipse, right after they tried to summon this.
Yeah, I
eyebrows
doubt he's
character
autistic.
at
I have an
CERN. They wanted to
autistic
create a
son. He
demonic
doesn't appear
portal,
to be autistic
fire
to
up
me,
the
but I'm
largest
no
atom
expert.
smasher particle accelerator in the world, right during the eclipse, which is when demonic is
You're
most
good to
apt to
go.
summon.
Yeah, I
and
guess
be
so.
manifested. And it's all coming out of Iran, and so now all of a sudden, the
Pretty
guy
fly
that did
for an
this
Archangel
is
Grifter guy.
essentially
It
dead.
says
It looks like he's dead.
Productions.
So here's what they're saying about that. This is a big deal. I mean, this is probably the alliance in
There
Iran
you go.
stopping the war from happening.
People wondered
Zoom
if
in
he
on the
would
top.
talk about the
Iran has now formed an
Iran's
emergency
president
government.
dying in
Thank
a
you,
helicopter
Joseph
crash. There you go.
Zanjabi,
Tied it in.
$20. Appreciate that. Following the helicopter incident of Ibrahim Raisi, Iranian news media is now running Quran verses which indicate the worst case
A
scenario.
dipshit, not autistic.
Joe Biden is
Yes.
being briefed about the
He shows
situation
bipolar
following Iranian
tendency,
President
says Wingnuts.
Raisi's
Thanks for being a
helicopter
member.
experiencing an accident. The ex-account Israel War Room put out an ambiguous post with just a
Yeah,
helicopter.
Jesus. David has thousands of
Maybe
mentally
they did
challenged
it.
people that follow him. Why doesn't he use
People are
this to
praying
do
in
good?
Imam Riza Shrine for
It's
the
too
president,
selfish.
Ibrahim Raisi. They have a few hours left before the night.
Anthony says, hate to say it,
difficult.
it's
The fog of
transitioning.
war is officially here. Dang. That is very, very interesting. That is very interesting. Then they also put this out. And then it says, people close to the Iranian government publish a picture bearing the phrase, "May God have mercy on the martyr Raisi." So I believe this is really all
I believe
still
you are
just the
correct, Trolly
beginning
Troll.
of something huge.
does,
We are not
in my
really
opinion.
seeing where this is going.
Thanks for being a member.
I was trying to watch regular television shows recently. You know, I'm trying to part of how I want to get sober is by,
Yeah,
using
God, he's
other
getting
forms of
sober
entertainment
again.
to keep
Every
my
week
mind
he's trying to get
occupied, give
sober.
myself some kind of release.
He
So
can't
I've been
stay off the wacky
watching
weed.
various television programs, and I just know that once the alliance actually arrests the cabal,
Oh, the mass arrests again.
everything up until that day will be like black and white, and all of a sudden turned into color. The entire way in which we perceive reality, the way in which we
Didn't he
apprehend
play
the universe,
Corky?
and the way in which we understand
Oh,
who we
man.
are and what we're doing here, that's all going to change.
Yes, he can't pronounce the Quran.
Because the Shadow of
Calls it the
Ezra and
Quran.
other sources are obviously pointing out what I've been saying about the Virgin Mary, Fatima prophecies, solar flash, first wave of ascension.
I can't say I disagree with you, Garaji. Thanks for being a member.
These ETs are going to come back.
If tampons were in the men's restroom were a person, they'd be Wilcock.
I'm not saying I'm anything special. I don't want to be worshipped. That would be a very bad idea.
He doesn't
I
want to
have
be
lots
worshipped.
of flaws. Still have this little bit of a zit on my eye. Nobody's really been upset about it, but somebody mentioned the red heifer. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really strange stuff going on right now.
At least he's only
Imagine
talks about
Meatbag
his zit
wants me to eat
once.
chocolate chip cookies. Okay, that's, I guess, another way you could try to stay sober, but then you might gain weight, which is kind of unwanted.
Yeah, but they call him the butcher,
Cookies
so
all day.
it's probably a good
So
thing
again,
that
I
that guy's
believe that
dead, but they
we're
might
seeing
replace him
the
with somebody
beginning of
worse.
Something huge.
So who knows?
And another big part of it is the UFO story. Here it is on the Hill. This just came out very recently, May 9th. Top 7
Now he's
believes
posting
the
Merrick
US
shit.
has secretly recovered UFOs. So this is part
The
of
Hill
the
is
story.
garbage.
And as
This
I've been
Merrick
saying,
guy
we
is
may not like the
garbage.
full
He's
story,
a
but
propagandist.
we're all
He's not
going
a
to need to learn
journalist.
about it. Up
He writes
until
opinion
now,
pieces,
nobody
remember?
really believes Roswell was real.
Good for you,
Emily
Wingnuts.
Emil Lee sent me $19.99. Thank you very much. Up
I
until
agree.
now, nobody really believes this stuff is true. I get that, but the point is that it is true. And just because you're not ready maybe to believe all this stuff doesn't change the fact that ships did crash, doesn't change the fact that we are not alone in the universe. that
Oh,
the
thanks for
aliens are
stopping
already
by,
here.
High Speed Chase.
It
Don't be a
doesn't change the
stranger.
fact that on the
Have a good
negative
night.
side,
Thanks for
you
being
have
a member and
reptilians
for the
and
super
greys and
chats.
insectoids. On the positive side, you have humans who are angelic entities that project into human form from
Anybody else? Did anybody else ever think it's very suspicious that the ugly aliens are always the bad guys and the hot like Nordic aliens are the good guys? Like, isn't that too like convenient? Oh, the ugly aliens, they're the bad guys. The beautiful ones, they're the good
the
guys.
spiritual essence. And so both of those sides exist. And I apparently had contact with the positive side. As I've discussed many times, it began in 1996. I used remote viewing protocols. It was very commonly talked about on the Art Bell show.
He remote viewed Angel Talk.
99.9% accurate.
99%
then I found out
accurate.
later on from Pete Peterson that if people use the remote viewing protocols to get speech, that they would typically be contacted by Christian angelic extraterrestrials. And so,
How
nobody
convenient.
wanted that to happen.
Just in
within the
time to
United
write
States,
a
so they
new
said, "We gotta
book
shut this
and
down."
sell books to more
They
stupid
create
people.
Special protocols where all you can do. I got to put my Trump slippers on, you guys. My feet are starting to get
I agree with
cold
you.
here,
Do you know
so
what I do? I watch
slippers to
I
the
watch
rescue. I think
news
this
from
is a good
India
move.
being produced
It's
in
an
India.
investment in
It's
my
actually
future.
very good because it's kind
Making
of
my
both
feet
sides of the
warmer.
story.
Yes, there we go. Feel that. All right. As you can see, it's all part of the game, folks. So, anyway, the remote viewing protocols worked, and I was able to get text
I
that
agree.
from the very first day was
Harry
prophetic.
Joyce makes a great point. In order for his grift to work, you have to believe he has special abilities and knowledge. If you make him your spiritual guide, he has hooked you. Absolutely. That's how the grift
Future
works.
brought me into some very interesting information.
He's not
In
mentally ill.
1999, the source
Anna
identified
Louisa.
itself as the being,
He's
the entity,
evil.
the saint, Archangel Michael. So I was not expecting this. It happened again in 1999. It took 3 years for the source to say who it was. And then in 2021,
By the way,
and
that's
22,
just
the material
that's
became-
another clue that he's not speaking to angels. Angels do not masquerade as other entities. At least as far as every story in the Bible I've ever read, they don't masquerade as Egyptian gods and then suddenly say, "Oh, I'm not the Egyptian god Ra. I'm actually the Archangel Michael." And that's what David Wilcock is telling you, that an angel lied to him for 3 years about who he really was, but then revealed it to him. That's against every religious principle in the Bible. Angels don't lie to people, David Wilcock, or masquerade as other entities. But you know who does masquerade as different entities? Demons, trickster, spirit, demons do that.
profoundly prophetic. Everything was time looped into the present. I've been
Yes,
doing
this is a
multiple shows
con.
about this. And
How astute
I
of
wrote
you,
it all into 7 books between
Terry
2022
Joyce.
and 23. So we do still have the deal right
The
now.
alien
7
grip
books for
lacks
70 bucks
equity.
at
Yes.
https://thedisclosure.com. The
Oh,
discount code
here's the
is
pitch. Buy
Revelation,
my shit.
and
Buy
I
my
do now
angel
have it in the
books.
comment field on this video, so you can click on that link. Just go down, scroll down to the comments. I put it in there twice. You have to just order the books only package, not
Yes,
the
it
Sacred
is
Science
sinister.
video course. This is a
Cameron
different deal.
T.
Just straight books only. Type in Revelation, you get it for 70. And you're going to see why you might want to own these, because all the stuff that's happening to
But
us
wait,
has
there's
been predicted,
more.
and it goes way
$70.
beyond the exact
What a
moment in time
bargain.
we are now.
He was
It goes
charging
into the future.
$333.
Archangel Michael has
You
shown
know,
such
nobody bought those books at $333, because if people were buying the books at $333, he wouldn't drop it to $70. So I suspect nobody's buying this con game from him.
found an incredible ability to predict the future, that all skepticism should be eliminated by everybody.
Oh,
And the only other time something like this ever happened was the Sibyl of Cumae in 539 BC, who channeled 3 books that apparently predicted the entire future history of Rome, and it became considered the greatest
agree,
treasure
Anthony.
in all of Rome.
Yeah.
And they kept it locked up on the Capitoline Hill and Temple of Jupiter with 5 levels of security guards around it. They were afraid that if
You're
anybody
probably
read
right,
the books,
Anna.
that they would see these bad things that were going to happen to Rome, and that they could use that as a weapon against
he's Earth's greatest
Italy.
prophet.
So
Stephanie
this really
Willows.
was seen as like
Have some
the
respect
greatest
for Earth's
treasure
greatest prophet.
in the history of that time, and they even went
He
around
is a
with
trooper
other
to his
symbols and
cause.
tried
Buy
to
my
recreate
shit for
the
3
books
hours
that
and 30
Sibyl of
minutes.
Cumae had burned.
Order now and
And
receive the printout
phrase
of a hover car
Novus Ordo Seclorum
replica.
on the dollar bill is
David
quoted
needs
out of
money.
the Sibyl
Yeah,
on
he's
mystery
broke.
texts, and it says that the noble Virgin and Saturnian kingdoms now return. The golden one shall arise again in the whole earth. It's talking about ascension. So that is an ascension prophecy from those texts that, again, they valued it as much as an entire room filled with gold to the ceiling.
Scottish for Muppet.
So you can type in, again, the code Revelation, go to thedisclosure.com.
You want to be
And what
poor?
Michael is doing is he's giving you practical advice on how to be ready for this event that apparently is going to happen by next year, 2025. So, like, we don't have a lot of time.
Terry Joyce, I don't know if you're aware of this, but David Wilcock is saying that a mass alien Disclosure event and Ascension is all going to happen in next year. So you got to hurry up and buy his books now so you'll know how to prepare for it. He rewrites history. Yes. Zizix with a kind of generous $2. And thanks for being a member, says, when he's speaking for others, it is not wacky. If you say so, thanks for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
So here he's telling people that he's Earth's greatest prophet. And yeah.
And when you read this type of spiritual
You
literature,
need this book to get
raises
ready for what's going to happen
vibration,
next year.
helps you
You know what's going to happen next year? Nothing. Nothing like he says is going to happen.
Deal, and as soon as we get funded,
it's a great deal
going away, but it is there right now. So thank you for supporting us. I really appreciate your support.
World's longest
so when you read
infomercial,
these books, which I hope you will do.
Can't stain his curtains. Typical
you
woman.
Know, we do need the money still. It's very, very serious financial need. That is not a joke.
We do need the money.
Not like hiding money. Believe me, if I was, then I'd get struck by lightning already, like Danny and Brinkley or something. But that didn't happen to me. It happened to him. Struck by lightning. The Michael prophecies reveals a parallel lifetime that I had. And apparently,
yes, he said this stuff for 20 years now.
UFO,
yeah, big things are happening.
Very prolonged things. And the only way you can recover them is dreams. Well, one of the ones I haven't showed you,
Wilcock Homes Shopping Network channel,
strongly was indicative of UFO abduction. I drew this in 1990, and it looks like I'm on a hospital bed.
Could not be more wacky.
And we'll
I agree,
talk about this one a little later, but there's
I look forward to the legal depositions.
They also have military jaws, so this suggests the MyLab or military abduction.
Probably Anthony Peterson's good. You're giving them grift
I never
ideas.
Had any idea that I might be lying on the ground looking up at a UFO over the top. That's what the circle is.
He does. He reminds me of Heaven's Gate too.
Leaning over and looking down at me. But that's what I think we're seeing here.
Back to his drawings.
Daddy Law just donated $9.99. Thank you very much. And we are now already at 44 minutes, up to 3,782 viewers. So
can you believe that many stupid people tune in to listen to his drivel? It's amazing.
So Michael revealed that I had trauma.
Curtains are there to accent the depressing mood lamp.
1997. I read this before, but we're going to go through this stuff in detail again because I had to start looking at myself differently.
Oh my God! Now he's a big hero of his own story again. Troll with a kind and generous $5 super chat. And he just says, I'll see you and raise you 5. Thanks for 2 things, being a member and helping us to praise the cash. Big show supporter, Troll. Thank you.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Where's it trolley troll? I always say trolley troll. If it's trolley troll, probably is, right? Let me know in the live chat. I don't want to say it wrong. You're a good show supporter, and names are important. Legit artworks are coming out now. Yes, buy now and get a free return of my debunked bullshit. Chris Johansson, it's truly incredible how gullible his followers must be. Like, holy smoke. Yeah, I just can't believe it. Okay, whatever did he try to draw there? It looked like it was getting banged. Whatever he tried to draw looked like it was getting banged. And here's where he's going to start claiming that he was physically killed at age 5.
The killer had begun my physical killing at age 5. And then I said, hey, is this about the out-of-body experience and possible abduction I had at age 5, where I saved my little shirt that I just showed you? And Michael says, no, those are 2 different things. So in all honesty,
I get it. Yeah, Stephanie, it's shocking that he thinks anybody would believe this, but they must. They tune in.
Weird. I lost my tally light on camera 7.
3,000 live viewers for this nonsense.
And I am on camera 7, but there's supposed to be a red light over the top, and it just stopped working. I don't know why.
He needs 7 cameras to project maximum amplification of his bullshit. He needs 7 cameras.
It's like, wait a minute.
A bullshit amplification system. 7 cameras. 7 cameras.
How the hell would that even happen? And what does this even mean? Well, he said those are 2 different things from the out-of-body experience with the funny shirt. So I learned this in like February of 2022, and I said, well, I got to start investigating. I got to look through my own childhood paperwork. And not only did I get killed, but I got abused. So then he says this, David has worked strongly with our extraterrestrial space program. Well, today I'm going to show you a lot more evidence.
It's nice. He's going to show us evidence. And I think it's great that his imaginary friend, the Archangel Michael, is telling him that he was a very important part of the secret space program and interacting with aliens.
Strongly suggest that this is true.
He's going to
And
show
I'm
us
gonna add
evidence
stuff
that this
you've
is
never
true.
seen before.
Oh boy!
By and large,
Can't wait
we
to
now
see the
need
ev-
him to pull his weight in that, meaning to put together the evidence about that we worked in the space program with David.
I agree. FMRL Productions.
Skip
yes.
Weatherford was the guy doing the
This is a
hypnotic
great
session. I
comment.
got much deeper.
Great comment from QCW. People who charge money make money a priority. For if his stuff had real value, people would donate. But because it has no value, he charges. Real profits would give for free because they have value. I agree, 100%.
Trance than I ever had before in my
Imagine if
life.
Moses said, "I just got the 10 Commandments. I'm going to need some money from all you people."
He says, "I'm the one who shall remain nameless." Again, if it had said Archangel Michael, I wouldn't have wanted to do it. David is one of us. His emotions have been juxtaposed against the emanations of misery. Why would he be miserable? And he's had a hard time with this. Well,
his evidence is crap from movies. Yes.
The experiences of his plane in this space program would be highly irrelevant to most people on Earth. And we talked before about how my father worked for GE.
The only evidence he'll have is the blisters.
I showed you a letter.
Herpes blisters.
Boss of my father is really weirdly too sorry about the fact that we couldn't make it to the
selling
ceremony.
tickets, and he's repeating shit from the last stream again.
Council,
Zizix, kind of generous $2. Thank you. David needs to film his wild
the age of enlightenment that is upon us. That's going to be
okay.
Everybody
Praise the
way
cat.
more enlightened, forming a greater understanding. There will be a reconciliation of the trials and desires of the human experience, which we all could use right now. We have great trouble with David's fears. They keep getting in the way. Ego and fear get in the way. Well, I'm not afraid now. I'm still doing this despite death threats.
He's getting death threats for spreading this bullshit.
Much experience with fear, energy, and forces. And this is going to lead to the idea of me being literally eaten. Remember, the first thing it said is I was physically killed beginning at age 5. How could that be possible? Well, if they have an extraterrestrial technology,
I don't remember Moses grifting for $333.
If your head is chopped off, they can stick your head back onto the body, turn this med bed on, and all of a sudden, your head grows back onto your body, and then when your body is fully restored, consciousness reignites, but you reincarnate, and you now have a new part of your soul that makes a new personality. So they look at this as like the ultimate recipe for multiple personalities, which they can.
They are amateur hour.
And I had to go through a very elaborate deliverance process of casting these things out and reintegrating all these fragments so that it's just me. We constantly have to keep and maintain focus.
Yes, 333 times 2 is 666.
If I understand it correctly,
repeated sexual wounding. Somebody was butt banging David Wilcock, according to him.
Valerie,
he was getting butt banged.
Thank you. There is
with
a
no lube.
deal of trauma in the red chakra, which you would perceive as being at the sacral base of the spine. That indicates, of course,
predict some lotto numbers so he can pay his taxes.
There is a depression of sexual feelings and urges. There has been repeated sexual wounding. Whoa. It is the memory of this which is bled through and why David is so solitary in his experiences now. So they use the word sexual and then they use the word bled, which is, of course, bleeding. So this, again, killing, bleeding.
Or email me the link.
So apparently,
UCW.
It's
truthseekershow@gmail.com.
And I do have a very long history of horrific nightmares where I couldn't stand what they were. And I was having, for example, just in one example, something that I interpreted as a dog that was eating my hand. And I had this dream like, my God, 20 times, 30 times as a child. I mean, it wasn't like it was only once or twice, you guys. It was like, oh my God, there's that dream about being eaten again. Well, I wrote some poems about that stuff, and we're going to read those today. So wait for that. It's going to be mind-blowing. So, okay, strange memories did begin occurring at age 5. So, if I'm looking at myself scientifically and I'm trying to say, okay, do I have any evidence that something this outrageous that I obtained through a scientifically verifiable and replicable process, remote viewing, vetted out by the military, 99% accurate, I'm doing it properly, I'm getting prophecies. Most of the prophecies are wonderful. They're talking about ascension, but then at the same time...
Oh, they're wonderful.
What? We're saying that you can't have this stuff happen to you? Well, maybe I can. Maybe I just didn't remember anything because I had all these UFO contact experiences as a kid, all these dreams about UFO.
He's been on the grifter scene for like 30 years, right? 25 years. He really started in like 1998 with a website, ascension2000.com. So that's 24, 25. He's been grifting for 26 years, never mentioned that he's been abducted by aliens, never mentioned that he was in the secret space program. Isn't that a little suspicious that he was a grifter for 26 years and he just forgot to tell everybody that he was both abducted by aliens and a member of the secret space program? Wow. And what are the odds? Right when he needs new material, he's suddenly recovering all these memories, right?
UFOs in the backyard, was that actually real? And we read the testimony of Ralph Ring, who was using the Tesla flying saucer from Otis Carr. And then when Otis Carr took people on a saucer ride,
Ballsack. What?
Put grass and rocks in your pockets.
Otis Carr is a grifter scammer that never proved his wacky claims. He had no evidence, and he wasn't a protege of Tesla. He was a con artist. David Wilcock, you dumbass.
And I believe that what we're going to learn is that when you go through anti-gravity,
well, that's creepy, Anthony.
Change in the flow of gravity, your pineal gland automatically kicks on, and you go into your dream body.
I've talked to some off air, but they don't generally want to do an interview on air.
Totally partitioned from the conscious mind.
Did he try to perm his hair himself? This guy gets crazier by the day. Says Marina Mavrogenis. I love that name.
Beginning at
rolls
age
off the
5,
tongue.
Where is the evidence? I'm doing this as an investigator on myself. So one of the things I remembered is that I went and I got
an alligator.
I ran into the corner of the stairwell. I split.
We're going to hear about an alligator lollipop.
And to make me feel better as a kid on the way out, they had this alligator-shaped dispenser. It's a big alligator with his mouth open and these two big black eyes. It's all green. And you got to reach into the alligator's mouth to get the lollipop. And I was so terrified to reach into that mouth. It reminded me of these horrible dreams I was having, that I had an incredible panic attack and I freaked out. I mean, I did get the lollipop, but I just went into horrible
amazing
terror.
These new revelations appear immediately after he got a $1.5 million tax bill. It's a miracle.
Then there was a television show called Land of the Lost, and I might have even seen it before I was 5 years old.
I think some people, I love Land of the Lost. When I was a kid, they used to play it
on there called Sleestack
after school.
And once again, every time I saw these beings on television, I'd watch the show on PBS. When these entities showed up, I would have the most insane terror, just absolutely freaking the heck out, totally like nervous and like looking around the room and like just like my heart is racing and I can't stop breathing fast. Just because I saw these things on television, it would freak me out.
Everything is so dramatic with him. Yeah, he's a drama queen. I just
got really, really upset. Another one, it's funny, but it's true. My mother went to Mohawk National Bank on Route 52 going towards Burnt Hills. We go to the bank.
Candy Wilcock. Candy freaked Wilcock out. Poor guy.
You jelly beans.
Thanks for being a member, Emerald Rascals.
The kid has to reach into this egg. It's like a big mouth that's opening and closing, and you can time it.
For describing the Sleestack trauma, he wants at least another $100 donation.
But I was completely freaked out by this. I did not want to put my hand in there, even though I wanted the jelly beans really bad. I mean, I would get the jelly beans, but I had this incredible fear that something like my dreams would happen, where I would reach into the.
If he says Land of the Lost is disclosure, I'm losing it.
Or her egg. I don't know which gender it was. I don't know what
he would have milked that titty dry.
What gender is the Easter Bunny? I guess it's usually considered male. But anyway, I had so much fear doing this and reaching into this to get these jelly beans. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Another example.
Zizix with another kind of generous $2.
I mean, we kind of laugh about it now.
Did he have a 20 and back memory moment? Yes, he did.
Vampire. This was on when I was age 7, and he is some kind of alien who has mind control power over Wilma.
Thank you, Zizix. Raise the cash.
And he is literally like going to suck people's blood and energy. And he also has supernatural powers. At this point, she's now under his control. And
oh my God, a space vampire. Am I like wrong here and going like, how badly does he need material to talk, things to talk about, to just be like, I'll just show everybody all the space cartoons and shit I watched as a child, and then I'll relate it to aliens and my experiences somehow.
Shooting beams out of his hands. I mean, when I saw this space vampire, once again, This is just something on television, but it freaked me out so bad. I was so scared. The whole episode, I'm just
Apparently,
in complete
Wilcock was a
terror,
pussy
exactly
of
like
a
when the
child.
Sleestack would show up.
He had panic attacks when he
So
saw
perhaps
monsters
the
on
very
the
first
television.
artifact that I have that something like this might have happened to me is a short story that I did in 1982 about a talking skull when I was only 9 years old.
Oh my God, he's going to read a
Greys often appear
fucking
in people's
novel he wrote when he
visions
was
as
9 years
giant
old.
Owls. That's one of the most common things they do.
So when I say that he has a bloated sense of self-importance, do you realize that he thinks that like thousands of people are going to tune in to hear him read an article, like a fictional story he wrote when he was 9 years old, because he is that important.
And then my character also gets a curse that turns him reptilian green. So here's the original paper. I have it upstairs, along with all my other stuff, which we're all going to keep vaulted security now, so nobody can steal it.
Oh,
My mom wrote 1982 at the bottom, as you're going to see
it's
here.
so important. We have to keep
So
it in
here's the
vaulted
story.
security.
One dark, gloomy,
Like,
eerie night.
Did you hear that? He's got to keep this in vaulted security so nobody tries to steal it. Like, there's a group of thieves out there that's going, you know what would be a big score? If we could break into David Wilcock's house and steal shit that he wrote when he was 9 years old. We could sell that for tens of dollars, man. He's got to keep this shit under vaulted security? Or is he for real?
Let's get back to that slide. One dark, gloomy, eerie night, a boy was walking through the woods when he heard an owl. It scared him so much that he looked around vigorously. To his astonishment, he saw an old tomb. Said a voice. Rex Conrad donated $11.11.
Oh my
David, as you're
God.
talking about lightning, I noticed a new post.
He's reading shit
Shadow
that he
Dancer's
wrote when he
Telegram
was
post at
9
that
years
moment, a
old.
video of a lightning strike.
He thinks this is
Yeah, that's interesting. We
actually
do have a lightning
important and
strike
worth watching.
at the end of the show here. I just put that in. I didn't even get to see that. So thank you guys. Thank you, Alliance. Anyway, back to this. Said a voice. He did not hear the voice. The next day, he played hooky from school to go back. It was a long way, but he managed. He noticed there was no door to the tomb. He put his arm up against a tree and a door opened. When he went in, he was amazed. Sorry for all my spelling mistakes. I mean, come on, I'm 9 years old. I was typing this myself. There was a lot of stuff inside this tomb. He saw a skull, and the skull said it would put a curse on him. When he got home, he had changed to the color green. And then his mother said, "Here comes the frog," and she never saw him again. There's my mom's, date of 1982. Here comes the frog. Isn't this strange?
Who saves things that they wrote when they were 9 years old into being past 50, right? Wilcock's past 50. He saved shit that he wrote when he was 9 years old. And now he's reading shit that he wrote when he was 9 years old on a live stream. Talk about trying to connect some dots here.
The frog suggests green, suggests reptilians, suggests Sleestack, that something bad was happening.
He should put it in Jeremy Corbell's
And
save.
treasure
Definitely
room,
Anthony M.
There's
Good,
all these
good
secret
idea.
places you can go. And I was going to secret places where there was, in fact, very interesting treasure. And we also have the owl. He gets
I
scared by
agree,
the
Chris
owl, and the
Johansson,
owl leads him to
100%.
this
Beats
weird
working
tomb.
a real
So
job,
the
I
owl
guess.
could represent the Greys.
He's having a
Tomb could
nervous
represent
breakdown.
These places that nobody gets to see. They're underground or
Could
off
be.
planet. UFOs would be another form of treasure. And there was a lot of stuff in there.
So I guess
The
you won't plug my new
indicates
channel,
death,
My
but
Old
I'm
High
being
School
killed in these
Homework.
experiences, and it put a curse on him, and he turns green. And then this desire to run away from home, apparently. She never saw him again.
Walmart guitar and fifth grade
so
essays.
here's another one that's
Yes.
just quite captivating, where I drew an intelligent being. And isn't that interesting? Yeah.
I just can't believe that he's showing people shit that he did when he was 9 years old,
wow, what
as
does
if
that
this
mean,
is
right? It's
somehow
like,
important.
Okay, this was part of a short story that I wrote about my trip to Planet Z, and it predicted that I would become famous for having made this trip. And the story, by the way, is in my mother's house still. I don't think I have that one with me. She retained some of my childhood stuff. So I want to get an original scan of that Planet Z story, but it basically said, I get taken on a ship, I go to this planet, and then I get recognized for that trip later on. I become one of the
I could
most
see that
famous
happening,
people in
Amy
the world.
Collins. Being 70
Maybe
and
that was
showing
something
finger
Archangel
paintings
Michael was telling
of
me,
scary
because I
worms.
certainly have become a very visible person.
Miss Tessa Marie is here. Welcome, and thanks
So
for being a member.
another thing that's weird is that the Gray's stomach. Again, ETs had never really been
Irrefutable
seen by this point,
evidence. Yes.
but it had a huge. I mean, yeah, there was close encounters, I guess.
Yes,
but
he has an
it
IQ
has
of
a huge
200.
alien mouth, like in the movie The Thing. So that's the part that I don't really show you because I
His
cropped
mental
it out.
illness
I have
goes
to go
back a
and dig
long
up the
way.
photo,
Says infamous
which I'm going to
14206.
do,
Thanks
so
for being
you'll
a
see
member.
the whole thing. But anyway, what we're seeing here is, you notice there's these
Yeah, I
two
wonder how much
strands
he's insured these
below.
drawings.
He's got the three fingers. That's typical of the three-fingered alien, right? How did I know all this at this age? And then if you actually scroll down, not only does he have vertical slit eyes, his eyes have reptilian pupils. He has sharp teeth in his mouth, but he has this huge mouth in his chest. If you see the whole image, and I have it upstairs.
I don't know. I think he's a terrible artist. I don't know. I have an 8-year-old son that can draw much better than that.
I'm going to scan it. I didn't have time to do that this week, but whoa, what kid draws an
Yes,
intelligent
tune into
being
his
like
live
this with all the
stream
other
next
supporting
week,
evidence
which
at
will
it
be
is?
called
Very,
My
very
High School
intelligent.
Homework and
The
Space.
next thing that really, really freaked me out, as I'm sure you can imagine, was the television series known as V, The Visitors. This was when I was 10 years old in 1983. This is some of the signage of the original show. They spray painted V. It's actually a bad alien invasion, but you don't think so at first. These saucers show up.
V was a great show. I have a box set of all of the V episodes. But this is interesting. So basically, I guess if we follow David Wilcock's logic, him being scared when he sees monsters on television when he was a child is because he was butt raped by reptilian aliens and murdered and then med-bedded back together somehow after they murdered him and butt raped him. It's something else. This is evidence to him. I was scared of monsters on TV as a child, so it must be true that I was in the secret space program. Billy Hicks for the kind and generous $20. Thank you very much. Very kind of you, Billy Hicks says, I think we're all being blindsided by the probability of the fact that big tech would be supporting people on the secret agency-controlled opposition side. Therefore, it targets the perfect candidates to fall for the grift. Those algorithms are finding him wackadoos to send him money, Billy Hicks, so I can't say that I disagree with you. You may be correct. Longtime show supporter, we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support, and, of course, for helping us to...
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Thank you very much, Miss Hicks. Good to see you here. Always good to see you here. Amy Collins says, what if he is still grifting at 70 while showing finger paintings of scary worms? And Billy Hicks, maybe we're giving him and his followers too much credit for being good at grifting or stupid for believing, when in reality it's simply smart supercomputers finding the people they know will buy it. Can't say that. Yeah, I don't know. Is that alien drawing flipping us off? Yeah, it looks like it's giving us the finger. Al Garay says, make sure your son saves drawings he did in 8 years old in case he wants to do a live stream about it when he's 52. Good point. It's so childish. Like, how important? What kind of bloated sense of self-importance do you have to say, you know what? I'm going to do a live stream and I'm going to read people's stories I wrote when I was 8 years old. Like, unless you're Stephen King, who the fuck cares, David Wilcock, right? Or some other famous author. Maybe people would tune into that. But David Wilcock is got such an ego. And his whole line of reasoning here so far is, I was scared of monsters on TV as a child. That's proof I was abducted by aliens and in the secret space program, where I was murdered and then reanimated and butt banged. I'm not sure in what order that happened in, by reptilian aliens.
Like the good guy saucers, but these are very evil. And in the beginning, we think that these are just, the good guys and they want to help us out. And then as time goes on, we find out that they all have reptilian faces underneath human masks that they're wearing. So this is one guy who gets his face torn away. You find out he's a reptilian. This is the whole face.
I like that show
shown as a reptilian
my dad
face,
used to watch
complete
it.
with devil horns. And then here's the leader of the whole group.
My dad didn't really like science fiction, but for some reason he liked that Mark Hamill guy,
so once again,
or the main male lead. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Mike Rudney says, I was just thinking about V before you mentioned it.
I think I agree with you, Charlie Troll.
Anyway, we've got some very interesting stuff here because, wow. every time I saw this show, and especially when they
It was
became
the hat.
reptilians, I got really, really freaked out once again. It was just
Okay,
the
we
epitome
all
of
watched that.
absolute
Yeah, we
terror for
did.
me
That
as
was a great
kid.
show.
To watch this show, to see these
Attack of the
reptilians
Mothership this
absolutely
July
freaked me out.
4th.
There was another
Mark
movie,
Singer, yes,
it
he
wasn't
played like.
Flatliners, but it was
Didn't
like
he
that.
play like
And if you
Hercules
can
or
remember what
some
it was
other
called, please let me
medieval
know.
thing?
It was in the early 80s,
That show, so
and
that when
people
he
were
was,
dying, and then they could
we
record
watched
the
it,
image of their death.
and I was happy
as
because my dad
video,
didn't like science
and
fiction
then there's a guy that
very
starts
much.
dressing up as a reptilian.
He liked
in all of
A-Team
this.
and Knight Rider though.
And so, let's make sure that's right. So anyway, the reptilian thing was a very common motif.
Yeah, I haven't
Every
been
time I
like that
saw it, I was
myself, Sandra.
absolutely terrified.
My wife says everything they do,
So
but
that was the V was
we're
just
gonna
one
look at it
example.
all one day. And
Then by
yeah.
1984, I had come back from Disney World, as I said. There's all
Wilcock
this
acts like
creepy
he
stuff around
invented
that,
V.
the letter I
Yeah.
showed you guys, and the fact they tried to give me
Eaten
these
and
puzzles.
violated by
And
reptilian
then it
aliens.
looks like I drew something about being eaten.
Okay, so far, David Wilcock is claiming he was abducted and he was in the secret space program, and they killed him and eat him and reanimated him, and they also butt banged him. Now, I'm not sure what sequence of events this took place in. Well, first they have to abduct him. We know that's step number one. But do they eat him first or fuck him first? Or do they, I don't know, maybe they eat him while they're fucking him. I don't know how this works. So they eat him and they bang him and they kill him and then they reanimate him. But I'm confused about the order. Would they be like necrophiliac homos if they were butt banging him after they killed him, before they reanimated him? When do they eat him? Do they chew on parts of him while they're butt banging him? Like, how does this work, David Wilcock? This is so stupid. And look, I made an artwork of me being eaten. That doesn't look like somebody being eaten. I don't know.
Because Chris Beskar revealed that the shape inside this guy's mouth is a common UFO shape that many ETs use. But you have a large green being that looks military.
Oh, it's a large
but it
green
also could
being.
represent reptilian because of the green color. And there's a stop sign.
This represents reptilians. This represents terrible childhood artwork of David
circles
Wilcock.
behind it, which again is a phallic symbol,
else, we now know
suggesting that rape was occurring.
Art
And then when you turn it sideways, you see the
old.
poor little kid's crying face. Well, that kid was me. And then there's a blue death dove next to him. So
this is the
this
worst
suggests
8-year-old
again
child's
that I was,
artwork I've
in
ever
fact,
seen. If he was my son and brought that home from art
Theo
class,
NL
I would beat the
gave
shit out.
$22
No, I
and
would.
says, I hope you sleep better these days, David. Stay strong. Thank you. So yeah,
Stay
this is
strong in the
pretty
grift,
wild.
David
My
Wilcock.
mom's writing is there. It says 1984. So I'm only 11 years old when I did this. But wow, it just shows that these dreams were really affecting me. I was drawing them and I was making collages about them because, again, when you wake up from this nightmare, and I've had them like at least 30 times as a kid, it's really, really bad. It's very, very bad. So this
It's almost as bad as a really loud refrigerator or smoke detectors going off.
appears to be part of that memory. Now I'm going to show you some stuff you've never seen before. Even if you went to the thing in Loveland, Colorado, this is still new. 1987, images suggesting I was eaten. And again, what I believe we're seeing here is
the aliens.
look around the edges, and it's kind of like teeth.
They banged me,
There's
and they
this kind of
killed me, and then they
stylized
ate
around
me,
the
and
outside
then they
of the
reanimated me.
But it also looks like blood, pooling blood, which could be, it's probably my blood, and the fact that I'm being killed. And then as I get killed, I have this psychedelic trip. I have a psychedelic experience, which is, the blood itself is showing these rippling patterns. And what I was drawing is only like one split second of something that is constantly changing like a kaleidoscope. So this is not meant to be just a still image. It's like the circles and the curving lines and the dots and all this stuff are actually moving in real time as I'm looking at it. But what was I looking at? I might have been looking at my own blood. And as I'm dying, I see this, psychedelic pattern appear. But again, there's a indication of teeth around the outside with the jagged lines. And then the next image makes this even clearer. This really does look kind of like a big giant shark mouth. You got all the teeth there. And then inside that, though, is, again, this weird psychedelic spiraling geometry, which again I think is the fact that I was getting killed, and then I'd have this psychedelic trip that would happen.
After they banged me and killed me and ate me, they reanimated me, and I had this psychedelic. Oh my God, this is so stupid.
I've desensitized myself enough now to this.
This is stupid, even for David Wilcock level is stupid. You know, I think the longer he does this, the worse he gets at like putting together any kind of coherent story.
But I can talk about this and not get too upset. I'm not upset at all, actually. I had a whole dream the other day saying that I really just need to get over the fact that this happened to me, that I was eating him because I kept having.
Oh shit! Where were we at? I just screwed it up. I think we're around here somewhere. Sorry, friends.
Adults only. I mean, it's not that graphic, but it's just definitely got some suggestive themes in it. Okay?
Oh, we skipped
Keska,
some.
what you?
We skipped some of
You,
his
the word
nonsense.
you, I made it big. Want, there's the guy with.
Is he really going to show 3 hours of shit that he drew when he was 9 years old? Is that really what we're doing here? 1 second. I lost my place. Doctor Who has my place. We were about here.
What I was drawing is only like 1 split second of something that is constantly changing like a kaleidoscope.
Maybe his parents were hippies and left some mushrooms around. He's having psychedelic experiences at age 9.
So this is not meant to be just a still image. It's like the circles and the
If you say so,
lines
Billy
and
Hicks.
the dots and all this stuff.
You
are
give him more
actually
credit than
moving
I
in
do.
Real time, as I'm looking at it, but what was I looking at? I might have been looking at my own blood. And as I'm
He's a
dying, I see
reanimated
this,
turd,
psychedelic pattern
apparently.
here. But again, there's an indication of teeth around the outside with the jagged lines.
I actually
And the
went
next
to all
image
boys
makes
high
this even
school,
clearer.
Anthony M.
This really does look kind of like a big giant shark mouth. You got all the
How
teeth
can
there.
anybody take this nut job
And
serious? I don't
inside
understand
that,
why anybody
though,
listens
is,
to him with straight
again, this
face.
weird psychedelic spiraling geometry, which again, I
Next,
think
he
is
will
the
show
fact
us
that
what
I
he
was
did
getting
on his
killed and then I'd have
Etch-a-Sketch and
this
his light
psychedelic
bright.
trip that would happen. I've desensitized myself enough now to this to talk about this and not get too upset. I'm not upset at all, actually.
All right, we found our place.
I had a whole dream the other day saying that I really just need to get over the fact that this happened to me, that I was eaten in this other weird parallel existence. I'm very grateful that you can hardly remember anything when this happens to you, because I don't want to remember this stuff.
I don't remember. I don't want to remember
a good
getting murdered and butt
But here's
banged
another one
and
that I didn't
eaten
show you
by
before that
reptilian
suggests
aliens.
the same kind of thing. Being eaten by reptilians, the blood drinking that they probably were
Vagina
drinking my blood,
teefy.
all this kind of
What?
stuff. So I was in school. I had a midterm on Friday. This was just in high
Yeah,
school.
me too,
We're talking
Flubberlane.
about
Yeah,
microcephalic and hydrocephalic.
sounds like somebody
chemicals,
is
blah blah blah. Just
snorting
trying to
some
take
bad
notes, and then I
salt.
got lost in my own daydream, and I start drawing this other weird stuff. So now we're getting closer in on the whole thing, and notice that there is like a magic circle in the middle of this, and we have once again the ritual symbols around the magic circle. Let's zoom in on that for a minute. So you can see, once again, it's like the typical pentagram type of thing. It's not a pentagram here, it's four-sided, but you get the idea. There's 5-sided stars inside and lots of weird magical sigils in the central circle. Now, on the
Terrible
left,
artwork.
we only have what just looks
Terrible.
like a sphere. I'm not really sure what to make of all the stuff that's up there. But
Something
on the
phallic,
right,
says
this
Rezo
might
Factor.
actually be some type of weird subconscious stylized image of a reptilian again. You got the 2 eyes. You have the
This is a picture of a
protruding mouth,
reptilian. Oh my
which is here
God!
just drawn as a
Talk about
tetrahedron
trying to
shape.
connect the
You got
dots.
these kind of like gills under the eyes. The eyes are spheres, but then notice above the eyes, it looks like scaly skin.
Tripping
you
and
know?
drinking
And
juice
so
boxes.
this could very well
Jesus.
be part of
This
what
is
I'm
one of the better
remembering.
doodles
It's
since
very
Amy
encrypted.
Collins.
His pineal gland is open. There's that star shape there.
Must have been huffing
Could
glue
be,
or
I'm
paint
just saying
as
it's
a
possible,
child to
you know,
draw
I'm
this
just trying
shit.
to
Yes,
interpret what I'm seeing here.
I
Maybe,
want
again,
whatever
idea
the
of
hell
the
he's
reptilian
dropping,
killing
says
me,
Rezo Factor.
blood pooling in the middle
These
of
recent
the image
drawings,
there. You
don't
got
let him
that,
fool you.
looks like,
These
you
are
know,
recent drawings. He's
psychedelic
saying, yeah.
pooling blood.
Yeah, I mean, there's
And
no
it has a
proof that
gutter,
he
and it
drew this
runs
when he
up
was
to
8
this
years
other
old. He
thing
lies
with
about
two
everything. He wouldn't put it past me.
up to the top. And then I noticed, my God, you know, now that I am thinking differently, this is kind of like an insectoid illustration where you can
Talk about trying
see
to
that
connect
there's
some
almost like a
dots.
stylized insectoid face, or maybe even 2 insectoid faces. The sharp teeth are again drawn. So this is another
I agree,
example of
Marina. He does
something
seem like a mental patient
that
for
just
sure.
is very curious, and by itself, it might not mean anything. It's just a doodle, whatever.
Rugged source, his wife
Now,
probably
in
divorced him
context, it
after he
starts to
showed
take
her
on
his
more
first used
interesting
diaper.
connotations. So this is the one I showed you at the beginning. I
Yeah,
drew
it
when I
could
was
have
16
been.
years old.
Yeah.
It seems to be a MyLab image, and I was on
Schizophrenia.
something psychedelic, and I'm listening to Beggar's Banquet by Rolling Stones, probably their best
agree.
album in my opinion.
Hippie parents leaving
And
shrooms
there's a
out,
song on there
definitely.
called Sister Morphine, and we got 2 donations. We got
Seminoid.
Marjus Kulesko and we got M. Martin. Thank you both. So in Sister Morphine, he says, "Why does the doctor have no face?"
You would think he could, yeah.
That's part.
Banana
You
Clip
can't- you
says, "I
actually
believe
can't
him."
sing the lyrics the way they're supposed to be.
Banana
sung.
Clips.
Apparently
That's a
copyright
great.
infringement.
That's a great user
I just
ID.
did it like a
Welcome,
rap,
Charlie.
but
Charlie Troll
I
Troll.
heard
What did his
this
parents do
song,
for a
and I
living?
heard this line.
He seemed like a spoiled
and
rich
then as
kid.
the line
His
comes
father
through,
actually was a music reporter who wrote for Rolling Stone at one point, and his mother was a yoga instructor. And yes, they were very rich. His parents are loaded, apparently, or allegedly.
see this flash of this image. That's the image that I saw as Mick Jagger sang those lines, and I've now framed it. It's actually here in the house.
How much
So
of an
this
ego do
sure
you
as
have to
heck
have to
looks like
frame a
some
drawing
type
you
of
made when you were
abduction
8 years
experience where
old
2
and
aliens
hang
are
it in your
bending
house?
over at the waist and looking down at me while
Well,
their
there
ship
you go.
is flying
Yeah.
overhead.
Yeah,
Really, really
spoiled
crazy.
rich kid.
Now,
That's why he has an attitude that the world
another
owes him
one
free
that
money.
is very interesting is an LSD trip that I captured on paper.
And just
just
to be clear,
decided-
I've known a lot of wealthy people, and they're one of two things. They're either extremely entitled and lazy and egomaniacs like this guy, or they're extremely humble and incredibly hardworking, and you would never, in some cases, know that they were that wealthy. Wilcock definitely fits into the spoiled rich kid, the world owes me free money, kind of category
that
to me.
I was sitting there at the kitchen table. I'm alone. I'm having a very, very bad freak out.
Well, his mom's
Next
kind of
thing
a
that
crystal
newspaper
hippie
is in
bitch,
front
so
of me,
maybe not, Cameron. She's
and I'm
probably
looking at this
proud of
particular
him.
article and reading
right?
the article, and then the picture of the guy and everything turns into something very strange. So, to set this up, my therapist indicated that if you take certain compounds, like we just mentioned, and I again do not recommend this, I actually think that Crystal P donated $9 and says, "Do you think your mom knew what was happening to you?" Well, no, nobody really did, but she did encourage me to write all these dreams down, and I'm very grateful that she did, because now I have this incredible record. So, my therapist indicated that you can get repressed memories of trauma that will come up if you take certain compounds.
Well, there you go. At least
That-
he has
that
a
can be
therapist.
very bad,
He
very
needs
jarring,
one.
horrific experience like it was for me. So I'm not recommending that you do this. It's not fun. I never had fun. I always had a very, very bad experience because I'd be thinking about things like getting eaten, and I'd be thinking about things like being abused and evil aliens and all kinds of stuff. So this is the thoughts that started to crowd my mind when I took this stuff. So again, she said repressed memories can come out when you're doing this. Well, as I said, I was looking at a newspaper article. The title of the article was Practical Psychology. This was in spring of 1990. We could probably go find it on Microfiche, Schenectady Gazette. I know it's going to be in there somewhere around this time. So there was a large picture of a bearded man who wrote the article. And
he's like, "Oh, I could show you the article, but I didn't actually do that research, so I'm just going to describe it to you in my slides." This is so
the article
stupid.
was a two-phase title. The first part of the title said, "Don't resolve tension with the status quo." And so I ended up writing these words into my LS drawing, if you want to call it that. And so in my LS drawing,
what is it? LS drawing.
I wrote, "Don't resolve tension with the status quo." And instead of with, I used the French word avec for some reason, because I was a French student.
Sounds like abandonment issues to me.
You. And so it then said, "Strive for what
Hank
you
McGurk,
want."
I don't believe in
by
talking to actual therapists. I use YouTube like a drug.
And I used Keska for what? And then with the word want, I drew a guy holding his hand to the words want, and the word want becomes his face. And then especially with the word creating, I drew the word creating itself becomes the limbs of this weird creature. So again, let's take it from the top here because this is a little bit confusing. Don't resolve tension with the status quo. This is the title of this piece, Spectral Psychology. Strive for what you want by creating.
Yeah, just don't bust out your
inside
first
me
wet
was
dream
these
6th
weird
grade
repressed memories
drawings.
I was having. And the status quo
What's
is
next?
to deny what's going on, but then, strive for what you want by creating. This was actually a message from my higher self coming through this magazine. So I felt like I had to write all this stuff down, but I'm also like in this crazy, crazy state of mind.
Well, we only have a few
So
mods
this is the
now.
actual LSD drawing, and you can tell I'm just having a very bad time here.
He's having a very
So if
bad
you look
time.
up
This
at the
is
top,
his
it
LSD
says,
drawing.
don't resolve first of all, she's got to eat her.
This is my LSD drawing.
Got to go to sleep.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
major concern here, boys. How the F long have I been writing? Wow, I am tripping great. And then right below this weird body, it says, don't in cursive, don't resolve tension avec with, don't resolve tension with status quo on the left.
Oh, God.
And I wrote
If he's going to
status
connect some
vertically
dots,
and
I will.
forward.
Look, it says, gotta eat out or I'll starve to death. Took care of this. Kind of like how he spent, what was it, $4,000 or $5,000 of charitable donations to his shady charity on meals and entertainment for himself. See, he is a prophet. He predicted that he would waste all that charity money that was donated to him in restaurants so he could eat out or starve to death. See, I'm helping. I'm helping the grift.
Horizontally, strive for Keska, what you, the word you, I made it big. Want, there's the guy with the want, and his hand is the word want, by creating. Strive for what you want by creating. And then the being says, if you think this is good, wait until you take a whole tab. And then below the word want, I said, shit, I guess I'm really gone. There's a bunch of funny stuff here. The body is only a machine at the top. There's
write
so
this
much
stuff,
more that we can
draw
understand
this
out
stuff
there.
while
Who
he was
imagines? God only
tripping?
knows. And then on the bottom, though, this is where the abuse comes in. Really, really disturbing stuff. The taste of stew. What the hell is the stew? It's probably not anything you'd ever want to eat, if you get my drift. So on the left, it says, this is white blotter. What you're about to experience is not real. The participants are not real. It is now 3 a.m. I'm still awake. I have to work at 1:30. I have to get up at 12. 12 minus 3 is 9.
Oh,
One more
God.
hour at the
We have
evil
to-
most of it. God effing damn.
Interesting. Somebody sent me this. This is the Facebook group that I posted to that got this guy to start threatening me. UAP Nexus. If you want less skepticism, stop platforming BS. Interesting. So anyway, that's the guy who sent me those threatening messages. And that's the Facebook group, which, yes, I recall that I did post tonight's show to that, but I certainly didn't say anything. I didn't leave the group. I really don't know. I'm trying to find the group now because I think he threw me out of the group and then started threatening me, essentially. It is what it is. Who cares? Let's get back to David Wilcock's inspiring childhood artwork.
Damn it, I'm still hungry. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in just on this image because it's extremely disturbing. There is a man who is kind of a stylized depiction of the guy in the practical psychology. It says practical psychology next to him. And then coming off of the demon's tail, he has
So soon we're going to be getting into people asking him if he's a homo. Awesome. I can't wait.
And then I say, ha, chunk of flesh, as if I am the chunk of flesh that the demon is eating. And then it says in small letters, hey, isn't this supposed to be me? So then on the right, it says, boy, do I love the rich taste of stew, where we again have what looks like a magic
boy,
circle
do
and
I love the
blood
rich taste of
draining blood
stew.
off of it. So this is very bad.
This is
stuff.
important.
The face that I have.
He drew a picture that said he liked the
really
rich taste
sad,
of
and it
stew
looks like something
as a
this guy is
child.
doing
This
something bad
means
to me.
something.
And he
This
has
guy
white
is a
eyebrows,
goddamn
he
mental
has
patient if he
probably
thinks any of
wasn't
this
an
shit
abuser
means
who
anything.
had a full beard like this, who had eyebrows like this. I don't know who this guy is. I've guessed that maybe it was one of the teachers in my school in junior high. I'm not really sure. But just to highlight,
He
on the
got into
opposite
his parents'
side,
sugar cubes and
I
never
wrote
came
this.
back.
Alas, who knows what lies on the other side? Don't you
This
dare.
is something else.
It's almost like there's
Look-
something in
look
my
at all
mind saying,
stuff
don't
that
you
I
dare
drew as a
remember this stuff.
child.
Don't you dare remember what people did to you.
It's like, you know what I think is
Very
funny?
interesting.
I think this is
So then I did
extremely
a
funny.
reanalysis of this and
It's like he went to visit his mother, and his mother was like, "Oh, I was cleaning the attic. Here's a box of your old shit, and take it home with you because I don't have room for it." And Wilcock took home a box of his old shit from when he was a kid and came up with this whole convoluted story of getting butt banged and eaten by aliens and murdered and reanimated, and look, all this childhood shit will prove that to my idiot followers.
1998, the first time Michael starts telling me that something was going on, and now you see some more detail. The guy, I've just kind of simplified everything, and I took some of the text away from Boy Do I Love the Rich Taste of Stew. You can see really up close right there. So again, this whole thing is the demon actually has some kind of hat on. Maybe that's like the racist KKK stuff. It says practical psychology. I was so wasted I didn't spell practical properly. It's practial. There's no extra C in it.
He was so wasted. So he did draw this stuff while he was high. This adds a whole new layer to the grift. Like, look at this shit I drew when I was high. This means something. It means you should be in a rubber room in a straitjacket, you lunatic.
There's a mountain that has a mouth, and he's saying, get me out of here. So that, again, is like the idea of being eaten. I'm flying into the teeth, coming off the tail of the demon. But this is just incredibly disturbing. It's incredibly disturbing.
It's not disturbing. It's
what
stupid,
is the stew?
Wilcock.
What is the rich taste of stew? Why would I write that? Why would I make that so prominent? Well, you can probably guess what that might be. I don't know if that ever happened to me. Okay, now this is probably the most disturbing one of all. So, like, if this is freaking you out, then just go ahead and skip forward if you can't handle this. But
this is the most disturbing
only.
one.
I mean,
As
it's
if
not
all
that
this
graphic,
rest of the
but
shit
it's
wasn't
definitely
disturbing.
got some suggestive themes in it. Okay. So I'm not really that happy about this, but yeah, here we go. So the first thing that happens is you got this guy on the top, and this is like one of my football playing friends from high school. And I did actually have a water pipe for the purposes of smoking tobacco only, which actually was a double chambered water pipe. And so I was actually drawing a fairly accurate rendition.
How old was he
of what one of my
while
pipes
he's
looked like,
smoking from a double chamber water
in his
bomb?
hand, and then his whole face is very, very phallic. His whole head is very phallic. And it says, yeah, good boy. Uh-oh. So when I first found out that something might be going on here, I was living with this guy, Jim, and he identified as a recovering homosexual. He said, David, are you sure you're not a homosexual? That's what he actually said. I'm like, Jim, I've never.
Wow, man, that hair is crazy. Like, he just bent over and you could see the whole top of his head. It looks like Barbie hair.
Adults only. I mean, it's not that graphic, but it's just definitely got some suggestive themes in it, okay? So I'm not really that happy about this, but yeah, here we go. So the first thing that happens is you got this guy on the top, and this is like one of my football playing friends from high school. And I did actually have a water pipe for the purposes of smoking tobacco only, which actually was a double chambered water pipe. And so I was actually drawing a fairly accurate rendition of what one of my pipes looked like.
And his parents just let him have a water bong in his house when he was what age is he here? Did he say?
And then he's got a lighter in his.
Is he smoking a double chamber water bong at 8 years old, or is he 16? I'm losing the plot here.
Hand, and then his whole face is very, very phallic. His whole head is very phallic, and it says, "Yeah, good boy." Uh-oh.
That looks like a pretty good likeness
So
of
when
David
I first
Wilcock
found
now,
out that
though.
something might be going on here. I was living with this guy, Jim, and he identified as a recovering homosexual. He said, David, are you sure you're not a homosexual?
Look at that head. Look at those bald spots, man. Look at that. What is going on with David Wilcock's head? It looks like doll hair on the top of his head.
That's what he actually said. I'm like, Jim, I don't have any desire for this stuff. I'm not into this stuff. Yes, I agree. This is a very, very strange and creepy image. Okay. It's like, it looks like there's probably 4 different phallic symbols all working at the same time here. His chin here, and his face is all like that. And then there's 2 of them in the water pipe.
Oh, there's 2 of them.
And then there's a fourth one in the lighter. So, whoa. And it says "good boy." That's not good. So then he said, "Are you sure?" I'm like, yeah. I'm not. There's nothing that ever consciously happened, and it's not like I desire to do anything. I mean, I'm not. I've always been with women. I have desire for women. This is not what it's about. Okay, well, then we see the bottom, and I.
Yo, listen, nobody. I've never heard any show host work harder to convince people he's not gay than Wilcock. If you've been watching his streams, there's always some references to gayness and homosexuality, and he laughs like crazy, like a giddy little child every time he talks about homo stuff. A lot of people would take that as signs of repressed homosexuality, that he's so obsessed with homosexuality.
I drew my friend who we would smoke with, but I drew him entirely different than how he actually looks. And I called him the Space Cowboy. So this image of the Space Cowboy is very similar to our good old buddy Lam.
Oh my God.
And as you see
it's
here,
not similar
let's
at all.
Lam again for a second. I indicated coughing.
Could be XXX. That's
well,
gross.
that was supposed to be, or consciously, I was thinking that I was drawing, coughing out smoke. But in fact, it could also be, a very graphic depiction of abuse involving the throat and choking on something. And then look at what his hand is reaching for. And then notice also,
it looks like his hand is reaching for a
behind
dick.
Space Cowboy.
Oh my God. David Wilcock, Space Cowboy, is reaching for a dick rocket ship. And did he basically just say that this is a depiction of getting mouth raped? Did he just say that? I think so. Is he implying that the reptilian aliens not only butt banged them, but they throat banged them too? Jesus Christ, is this getting crazy? Montauk Jerkoff with a kind and generous $1.99 says, eat that bison ribeye on the next wacky stream. I keep forgetting. It's been sitting in my freezer. I promise you I will do that, Montauk J.O., and thank you for your kindness.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Yeah, things are very last minute here sometimes, and I apologize for that. Tobacco in a bong. Yeah, I don't understand. Let's continue.
Image of another guy with glasses, and his body looks like a snake. So the Greys and the Reptilians
What a
are
nut.
literally
I
drawn
agree.
right over each other. And here again, you can compare my Space Cowboy, my
If
intelligent
you get
being,
physically
Lon.
ill, dreaming of having
They
sex
look
with a
very
woman,
similar.
that's
So
kind of a
then
clue.
let's look at the guy on the backside. And so you flip over the paper, and sure enough, there he is. And you
A
can see all
reptilian on
drawings
the
I did
dark
other
side.
bleeding through.
This has been so
But then when you look at
educational.
the bottom, here's this
Looking at
kid
David Wilcock scribbles
head
from
is-
when he
is
was
normal,
10
and
years
the whole
old.
rest of the
It's
body's
so important,
reptilian. You can
friends.
see the Space Cowboy behind him. The
Rocket ship
rocket
dick,
he's grabbing,
yes.
etc. So it's as if I knew on some level that there
The
was a
Space
reptilian
Cowboy
component,
asked me if
there
I was
a gray component,
gay. Wild
and there was
night.
an abuse component,
I told him I'm
and
into
I didn't even
women.
get that far, but Jim was just saying, David, are you sure you're not a homosexual? Yeah, man, definitely. I'm definitely not. I don't know what the hell this is.
Does anybody remember gay
anyway, there you
insurance?
go. So that's
Do you
probably-
remember that growing up? We had something in my neighborhood, I guess, or in my friend group. We just called it the gay. We would say things like, "Oh, I had to give Maddie the gay insurance," and that was when you were almost positive that one of your male friends was a homosexual, and you wanted to let him know that if he was, it was okay. You gave him the gay insurance. Like, look, man, if you're into dudes, it's okay. Just, don't try to bang me. Like, but if you are, it's okay. You could be gay. It's kind of a different time. People who were gay were still somewhat ostracized, and they were not so quick to come out as they are today. It was much less an accepting time. Never seen someone take so long to come out of the closet. Yeah, it's been a slow motion thing. Miss Tessa Marie, always trust the gaydar of women. Says no, he definitely is in the closet. I can't say that I disagree. Yeah,
the most disturbing one you're ever going to have to look at. We got through it together. So we talked about this one before, the memories after The Shining. This is also pretty creepy, but I didn't really get into the idea that I got caught in a labyrinth.
he got caught in a labyrinth.
Drum or murder spelled backwards. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. That was a common thing in the movie. The dead kids, the guy chopping the axe through the door in the bathroom, the kid on the tricycle, and then down
Well, he drew
here,
The Shining. Is that what you're
we
saying?
have, here's Johnny, but he's got LSD in his hands. 3 tabs.
Jeez, what
room
the hell is he talking about?
237, and then I draw a labyrinth, and I say, run in the maze, die in the maze, but I describe it in
A lot of
like
people think he
German,
does,
in the
yeah.
maze, which is very clearly like a
Or,
Nazi
you
type
know,
of thing.
there
So
could
maybe
be
these people
another
were Nazis.
thing. Like, there is a phenomenon of men who are a little too, I don't know, I think that used to use the term metrosexual. And that just meant a man that was a little too well groomed and into his own appearance would sometimes be perceived as gay. Some people have said that about me when I was growing up. But of course, I was kind of like a punk rock goth weirdo, and I was wearing more makeup than most women. So of course people would think that, but it could just be that he's a little metro. He's a little too into his appearance, which would tie in with his huge ego. People have a huge ego like that, definitely way too into their appearance. Me, I think that I did what I did for artistic purposes, just to be sort of stand out and get attention. At one point, I felt like I needed it. Now, most of the time, I wish I was invisible. Last thing I want is more spotlight or attention.
Really don't remember, but I'm just trying to piece it together just like you. I'm doing a forensic investigation.
He's doing a forensic
So what about the
investigation
idea of
into his
running and
childhood
dying in a maze?
drawings.
And would somebody tell me, yes, you're going to have to run in the maze and you're going to die in the maze? Well,
No wonder his
at the
wife
end of the
left
movie
him.
The
She
Shining,
found
there
his
was a
fourth
scene
grade
where he
drawings.
escaped through a labyrinth and it terrified
Oh,
him,
that's
nothing
terrible,
else.
but it's
So
funny. We'll allow
now
it.
is where we're going to read the first of the 2 disturbing
This
demon
is
poems.
David's
They're not
video
that bad.
application
Again,
for
there's
Social
stuff
Security
on TV. There's a
disability.
show called Evil
Yeah,
right now. I just saw a trailer
definitely
for
an
it. They're
uphill
showing you
gardener.
demons and all this kind of stuff. So
Forensic
this is really
accounting.
not that bad, but it is something that I had a traumatic dream. I woke up from the dream. I was so terrified. I said, I need to write this into a story. That's the only way I'm going to process what this dream was. So I'm going to read you the story.
Anthony M says, "Got to say, I
This is
prefer
very
lesbians,
intense.
but that's me."
So here we
They
go.
never look like the fantasy, though.
Clack, clack,
You know?
clack, win his feet. Behind them, there was
Not
another
very-
sound.
most of them
Chop,
aren't
chop,
very
chop.
femme.
It sounded familiar, like a horse zooming past at a race, like the sounds of hooves. A galloping, angry, raging horse, like hooves. The thought made him run with
Oh,
even more
another story he
persistence.
wrote when he was
Hooves,
8, because
like a
this is
terrible
important.
beast.
I got to share this
Chasing
story I
behind
wrote
him.
when I was 8 years
Beast,
old
You're definitely right.
with my
Right.
idiot audience, because this is important.
What kind of beast was this? It had the
So
same fast,
stupid. He did
persuasive
this for
two-step
3.5
movement as
hours,
him.
friends.
That means 2 feet, 2 hooves, 2 horns, some kind of beast. The beast, there's a devil of an idea, running from the beast, running from the devil. God, this is intense.
Oh, this
I
is
remember
so
how
intense.
scared I was when I wrote this.
Oh no, he had a
Sudden realization
traumatic
of the nature of his
dream.
pursuer made him feel suddenly lightheaded. I used word mirroring there. Sudden, not supposed to do that. He looked ahead
Fresh
of
off the
himself.
dot
and spots
matrix
of his image were
printer.
blacking out, as if a robotic
You're right,
electrician
Frank
got into
Perro.
his mind and
Thanks for
started
being here.
pulling
Thanks for being a
pieces.
member.
His body pitched forward and his hands
Male
shot
or
out.
female, he
His
still
feet
gets
faltered,
super
and he
ill.
desperately tried to keep on running. His brain surged with the fever of running from something, knowing he is doomed to fail.
Oh,
Running to stay alive. Running hard, breath hoarse.
this
chest
kid has
screaming,
drawings about
legs being
bongs and
torn apart,
LSD at 8 years
breathing
old.
heavily, with
Apparently,
no air,
I
like
don't
breathing through
know.
a straw.
I'm
Running like a little
confused.
mouse trying to get away from a cat. He was trapped like a little mouse. He looked down the corridor. It ended. Actually, let me give you the full screen shot of that just so you can see it.
Oh yeah, we did. We need to
Okay.
see the whole thing. Yes.
He looked down the corridor. He
What
ended about
8-year-old
3 yards
is
ahead of
using
him
a
and veered off to the
typewriter
left. His
or
brain
a
was stinging with a
computer
headache. He was drenched with
and doing
sweat.
this stuff?
The corridor turning left. Now
I'm
10
sure he
yards
said
down.
he
running as
did
hard
the
as he
first
could.
one when he was 8, but
mind
maybe he
raced
did
with
some of these
panic.
others when he was older. I don't know.
Sasha Watson says, "Thank you for your dedicated research." Thank you, Sasha. He felt his legs beginning to give out.
I
Corner,
remember
turn
you
the
from
corner,
creative
try to
writing
keep.
class.
Wham! Dead stop. Clenched. Motion ceased.
We're
He
always
felt his
behind
arms
in
being grappled on
Aussie.
both sides with the
Yes.
strength of a vice. All he could see was red.
He
Red,
really
with the smooth
thinks that
velvet
this
sheet spread
shit
over
that
around
he drew or wrote when he was 8 years old somehow proves he was abducted by aliens. Talk about trying to thread a needle, right? Or connect some dots so that you could sell a story. But it's the most incoherent, rambling nonsense story I've ever heard. Essentially, like, look at this shit I drew when I was 8 years old. Look, listen to these stories I wrote. This proves I was abducted by aliens and then butt banged, throat banged, eaten, murdered, and then reanimated. You know, come on, man. Shouldn't he like pick one part of this? Why did he have to jam all those things together? I was abducted by aliens, I was butt banged and throat banged, and then they ate me. Then they killed me, and then they reanimated me. Like, one of those things is fantastical enough. He had to put all these fantastical things together. And now, for the rest of my life, every time I look at David Wilcock, I'm going to think about a huge reptilian alien and butt banging him and skull fucking him. Okay? I said it. He's the one that said he got it. He got that. He got skull banged. You know what a skull F is? That's when you just grab the head and you just... Could you imagine a big reptilian alien? Come here, David Wilcock. Jesus Christ. It can't get wackier than this.
Boulders, red like skin stretched over muscle. He looked up, staring face to face with a huge muscular chest, meaning this being is much taller.
Hey, you could be right.
Good
Infamous.
muscle
This is what
definition,
happens
red
when you have
skin.
no
Now,
human
again,
interaction and drugs
the
for
red
years at a
is
time.
actually blood. The being itself is not red in color, but it was covered in blood.
Anthony M says, I think Fires comes next, then the
it
pets
comes
go
up to me,
missing.
and I get killed by
That's
this
serial
beast.
killer
That's what they were
vibes,
making me
right?
Go through. That's why The Shining freaked me out so much. Red skin, muscles grabbed, no longer
could
running,
be.
locked into a grip by terrible
These guys
strong
need
hands.
to pick a lane. Yeah. No wonder he has a big forehead.
Claws on the hands,
Yep.
claws digging into his skin. He started screaming. He looked into its face and screamed much louder, a sound that pierced through the dreadful laughter that he couldn't even hear.
Yeah, it's
It was
a big,
unlike any
it's a big
scream
mess.
he had ever heard himself produce. It was high and screeching like a wounded animal's
You never
death
heard
cry.
of the
It was
skull
over, he was
F
caught.
before, Billy
Life in
Hicks?
hell, dragged down into the terrible abyss, screaming.
This is
Screamed
supposed to be
with
his
all of
proof,
his
Davina
life.
TK. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Stormcrow is
He
here.
jerked awake,
Thanks for being here,
screaming, his
Stormcrow.
heart beating furiously. He was colder than an Adirondack lake in the dead of winter. Cold sweat. He looked around and realized he was in his room. The terrible reality that had become his life was still unchanged.
The terrible reality
I
that had
still
become
feel
his
afraid
life.
reading the poem. It still freaks me out to read this.
Oh, this was a poem, not a story?
But
He's calling it a poem.
anyway,
it doesn't
Scarlet Fire
rhyme.
says, "We live, we die, and death not ends it." Jim Morrison. Sorry, I'm lagged behind, Carrie Robbins says. Prince Andrew lives right out here. He is Yela Wolf, just younger. You're doing awesome. Oh, mate, your zit is melting under your eye, looking good. Thousands of people with pimples on their face. It's nothing a normal person would care about.
Your zit
Just
is
because we're on a
melting
big
on your
screen. Thank you.
face.
Yeah, the zit is almost gone. I actually did get it to release a bunch of stuff in the middle of the week, so it's doing really well.
I popped the pimple.
Okay, so I'm
This
going
is
to warn you
important,
one
too.
more time. If you have children, please take them out of the room now. You can bring them back in about 5 or 6 minutes. It's not going to take that long to go through this section. This
How
is
many
gonna be the
people
non
watch
for
David
children part of the
Wilcock
show.
with their
It's
children?
not that bad, but it does.
That's how
describe
big his
person
ego
being
is. He
beaten
thinks
by
everybody's
demons.
sitting around watching
It's not
his
that
live
graphic
streams
or
with the whole.
grotesque, and there is no sexual
Like, come
aspect
on.
to it, thankfully.
David Wilcock's talking about
But
getting
it
butt
is still
banged by aliens and
nonetheless.
skull
So when we're
fucked.
done,
Come and watch
as I
David
said, I will
Wilcock
use
with
the
me.
purple hippie glasses to let
Children?
you know. So
Who
you
would
skip
do
ahead
that?
now,
He's
go
talking about
ahead.
getting butt
If-
banged and
if this
throat
freaks you out
banged
and you find the need to
and
scroll ahead,
killed
go
and
ahead.
eaten.
We'll get there, and you can decide what you want to do.
It's all for sympathy
So
donations.
the
I agree,
sequel was
Jason
actually
Parker.
written
Thanks
a
for
year
being a member.
earlier.
Thanks
It
for
was
being
again
here.
something that came out of multiple dreams.
Yes, he definitely wears
Horrific
makeup.
demonic
Not that
abuse.
there's anything wrong with that.
And
Miss
I have to admit
Therese.
that I was inspired by Thriller. I was
Terry
really
Joy,
into
sorry.
Michael Jackson, as everybody was at
I
the time.
confused you momentarily
And
with
Vincent
Miss
Price did this
Therese.
monologue in Thriller
Terry,
that was really, really quite interesting and funny to me. I actually liked it. Whoops.
I don't know, Stormcrow. People are saying that
anyway,
he's got
let's read
herpes,
the
but I don't
monologue.
know. It's just rumors.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand.
Now he's going to
Creatures
read what
crawl in
Vincent
search
Price
of blood, to
did the
terrorize
voiceover for
the
Thriller.
neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell.
Could be. At least Diablo and mental health
Foulest
mitigation
stench is in
against the
air,
IRS and
funk
hover
of
car
40,000
investigator
years,
litigation.
and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to
You're
stay
right, Archaic
alive, your
Revival,
body
yeah.
starts to shiver. For no mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller. Ah, and then he goes through this whole laughter thing. Okay, so that was the oops, let's go ahead from there. So anyway, that was the poem. And I'm kind of doing it a little bit like Vincent Price. I don't really have the type of baritone that he's got, but I tried to duplicate most of his narration cadences. So you get the gist of what this was. And again,
Do you think he rehearsed
this was a very popular
reading
thing,
that? Like
and I actually
Vincent Price?
wrote it down.
I got to read this
transcribed the
poem I wrote when I was 8 years old,
And,
just like Vincent Price. I need to rehearse this.
Anna Rogers says, yeah,
For my
I made it
live
for the
stream.
We have lost some people. We're down to 3,500. I'm not sure why, but we're at the 1.5 hour mark. This is kind of like the midpoint. Actually, when we get through this.
This is not the midpoint.
But anyway.
This is
I
not
was
the
inspired
midpoint.
by the Vincent Price monologue that was.
We've got 15 more minutes before he reaches the midpoint. Are we going to make it? We usually try to get to the midpoint. We're going to try.
Written by Michael Jackson, but I felt like I want to do my own version of it to help process these nightmares I'm having. So I was having this repeating nightmare, these horrific attacks, and I had to make the nightmare stop. So I took the advice from the movie Cat's Eye, where there were these little demons in the movie. And they said, write about us. It's got 3 different parts.
I think he rehearsed
you see
it
this
too,
little
Terry.
demon down here. Follow the newest cat and creature game as played through Stephen King's Cat's Eye. So there's your little weird demon who sucks the life force out of people.
Cat's Eye.
And then the guy said,
actually, Cat's Eye, that movie Cat's Eye is a great film. And the reason I think it's such a great film is because it was just such a great idea. So this cat moves throughout the film, and then the film is a bunch of different stories that the cat witnesses. I think that was a genius idea for a film, especially if you're like an independent film producer or director. Like, that is a doable thing. You could get some actors and make 6 stories or whatever and get a cat. Anyway, great movie.
Says, how do I stop you from doing this to me? And they say, write about us. It's very, very weird and interesting. Hey, I still got.
Yes, his work is so important to humanity.
Great show.
We have
We're
to build him a
live.
pyramid.
You guys are listening, so here we go. I wrote the poem in Shakespearean prose.
The Thriller did it for me.
Iambic
I'm
quadrimeter.
out.
Stuff I was learning about in English class. I was in advanced AP English, honors English. We learned about iambic pentameter or pentameter. Penta means 5. There's 5 parts, and iamb, when it's iambic, is the dut, the dut, the dut, the dut, the dut. So that's iambic pentameter. There's 5 the duts. The dut, the dut, the dut, the dut, the dut, the dut. So that's
yeah, I can imagine. She's like, "Oh, I dodged a bullet."
Ideally, you don't always do it, but you.
Can you imagine if his ex-Elizabeth ever strolls by his videos and just thinks, "What the hell was I thinking?"
The dut, the dut, the dut, the dut. He can project that, or she can project that
out
a lot better.
Davina TK.
When there's no amplification in a live theater setting. So the rhythm of how you write the words is very important. And again, in a 4/4
no Dylan, but
signature,
definitely blowing in the wind.
You're not going to do it in 5. You're going to do it in 4, which you could call it iambic quadrimeter. I don't know if that's really a term, but again, I intended it for Vincent Price's voice. It's akin to a slow rap, so it's very similar to the Thriller rap, but I just kind of took it a lot farther. Okay, so I had to redact the prelude because it's not appropriate for what we're doing, but the rest of it's okay. So here we go. Whew. All right.
He's going to read this like Vincent Price.
The demon walks. Fresh young blood is what he stalks. Claws sink in to soft white skin. Now the feeding will begin. Chomping and slurping on flesh and bone. Dying carcass.
What kind of children writes this? A serial killer or a psychopath child would write this.
And brimstone eyes. Blood shoots out from jugular vein. Dying figure screams in pain. Pieces of
Pet
skin
Cemetery.
Off in
Miss Tessa Marie. You're talking about Pet Cemetery. That was a great movie too.
Anger and fury from the grave. Human flesh is its only crave. Ripping and tearing the flesh of another. Undead creature gains a brother. Deadly specters roam the night. Lowly creatures run in fright.
Why would a child write this stuff?
Satisfy their evil thirst. Human victims' eyeballs burst. It does not sound fun. carving the body like a roasted beast.
So now we're
Devils
getting
of the
poetry
night
that he
shall have
wrote
their
as a
feast.
child. We've gotten
Reducing a
dumb
body to a
pictures he
pile of
drew as a
slop.
child,
When will this
dumb
evil
stories
cradle
he wrote
stop?
as a child, and now a
Hell's
dumb
gates
poem
open
he
and
ripped
release
off
the spawn,
Vincent
ready to
Price's
hunt and
monologue
feast
at the
till
beginning
dawn.
of Thriller.
Then evil minions shall fly away, escaping the power of heaven's day. This is the one part that I didn't write. I will admit that. My friend Eric read the poem. I hadn't finished writing it yet. And he said, we need to have Heaven's Day come in and scare off the demons. I'm like, all right, all right. And I thought originally I was going to end the poem right here, but then I had more nightmares. The nightmares didn't stop.
That's a little crazy to me.
And already, as you can see, this is a very graphic depiction.
Especially that a
of
child
stuff
is
that we
writing
hear
this.
a lot about, these type of ceremonies.
Sounds like something a psychopath would write.
The things that they end up
In my
doing.
opinion, a
It's
psycho,
very, very
a
intense. Why
future
did I write
serial
this?
killer
I
of
just
as a
kept having
child
the
would
same
write that.
nightmare. I had to get it out. So then it gets you.
Could
I'm
be.
like, okay, well, you know what? Escaping the power of heaven's day, but there's more to write. So then I write this.
Oh my God, more of
Farmer
this shit.
finds bodies in his
More
barn,
poetry.
veins and legs and heads and arms. He tries to escape the evil boat. Malicious demons.
This sounds
spawn.
exactly like something that
Now this actually could be
Killer would
a
write as a
memory
child.
of being inside a Draco ship. Because
oh
apparently they leave
he
all
was
the
inside a
bodies just
reptilian
strewn around. And
ship.
so that's probably what I was thinking about.
I'm
Subconsciously.
definitely thinking about a
The
reptilian
hunger
spaceship.
comes from deep inside, demands that it be satisfied.
Anthony
Evil
M wants his
creature
last
walking
hour
crud
back.
Stalks the streets in search of blood. Sooner or later, the
Point
trial
of failures
begins,
here.
but
Welcome.
as you know, the devil wins. There's
Even
no salvation from the
just
hellish
Reagan
fate.
thinks he is
You
mentally
scream out
ill.
loud, but it's too
Sleepwalkers,
late.
yes.
The demon walks the streets again, seeking a lover, seeking a friend. Once there's no one else in sight,
Yes, these are the
creature
thoughts that if you
takes
have them, you just say
an
no.
inhuman bite.
He is
Down a black
worse than
stairwell,
evil
the
boy
victim falls,
Damien.
sees apparitions and hears their calls. Feeling
Anthony
light
M
as air,
says,
yet
"Oh,
heavy as
please
lead,
kill me."
links with other spirits of the dead.
Make it stop,
Sitting down
Anthony
a black
M.
abyss,
Make it
does
stop. We gotta
everybody
make it
die
stop.
like
This is the stupidest
Okay,
David
so there
Wilcock
you
live
go.
stream yet. I
We
didn't
got through
think
it
they could
together.
get stupider,
We
but
got
they
through it
just
together.
keep
The
getting
fetish
stupider.
glasses are on, and here's the. We did it, and we still got 35. But nobody left. We still got 3,526 people. Thank you.
Good question,
I will take care of
Archaic
you with
Revival.
this. I will give
Good
you an
question.
experience you will never forget.
Now he's playing
That's
with
what we do
bondage
around here,
toys.
you know, we got to create love. You got to wear Trump slippers. You got to have your fetish whip. You got to have gay glasses. Okay, these are all essential
Again, with the
elements of how
homosexual
we get through this.
references.
How we do this. So again, now we're not going to go through the poem anymore, but I did want to just point out that it ends with me dying, and that is what was happening. I was dying in these experiences, and I'm falling through a black abyss. Again, this part isn't that scary. Light as air, heavy as lead.
Oh God, more
Seeing
of this shit.
apparitions, spinning down a black abyss. So this is describing what really happened.
He looks like the kids.
Now
in
here's
that.
one
Yeah,
that
sounds
actually
like
has
him.
a comical element.
He
to
likes
it.
his whip.
This is one of the
Yeah.
pieces of art where my brother drew me, and then I
I know a dominatrix woman that could break David Wilcock in like 3 minutes.
a cutout of George H.W. Bush, and he's handing me a joint. And my brother drew me like thinking about, drugs and everything. I guess there's an angel of death there, so you can kind of see where this is going. But then
His brother's drawing
says,
him as
"Your
a
turn."
drug addict. That's
and
great.
at first I thought it was just about,
What a good brother,
he
right?
wants me to smoke with him. But then when you look at the joint, it actually could represent something else. And, your turn could be memories of something that happened to me as a child. That's all I need to say. So my brother drew this, and then I brought it to college. And then in college, I saw a picture of George H.W. Bush. And I will say that when he became president, it very, very much freaked me out.
Yeah, those eye herpes aren't looking too good.
I just was like, what in the world is this evil man doing being president of the United States? I had the most hideous, horrible feeling from him, and I was compelled to draw this. So again, maybe he was one of my abusers. I don't know. It's entirely possible.
What?
Given that they're all kind of a...
He's saying that George H.W. Bush butt banged him and throat banged him? Is that what he's saying? George H.W. Bush might be one of my abusers. Listen, this is getting to a level of sickness. When you are willing to accuse people you don't even know of sexually abusing you so that you can scam people for sympathy super chats, you are a piece of shit. Regardless of what I think of George H.W. Bush or whatever, I highly doubt that he was butt banging and abusing David Wilcock as a child. And for him to even suggest that, if I was a member of the Bush family, I would sue the balls off of him. This is the level of scam and grift he's willing to go to. He just accused an innocent man, I think. Well, let's not call him innocent. But he accused a man of being part of his horrific torture and sexual abuse as a child. And what evidence does he base that on? Oh, my brother once drew a picture of me with a bong and we glued on a picture of Bush. And then when he became president, I was repulsed by him. Great.
Close-knit group. And they all hang together, and they were probably all going down to Disney, where I was there again in 1984. So along these same lines, a strange idea. My brother drew something really
he has a
strange
shrine to Jeffrey Dahmer in his house,
where the eyes look like you're under hypnosis. You're totally, not in your normal mind. His right eye looks like a seashell.
My pleasure.
And he's got some kind of weird digital TV behind him, and along with the
Bush family probably
Illuminati
have
step
no
pyramid
idea
on
who
the
he
left
is.
there.
Yeah.
And it says, it's like he's my dad or something.
Yeah, it is like he was bullied, and now he's trying to get
taken out there, and these guys
revenge
like
or
they're
something.
Your father, but then they're also doing terrible things. I don't know.
Yeah, part of the grift is getting former presidents
So we showed
involved.
you this one before. Yeah. I wanted to repeat it again because it's very, very fascinating. Where I drew
go get him,
facsimile of the lunar landing, where they ran into
intervention.
Something they didn't expect. You got the weird pyramid.
It's Ron Howard. That's who his abuser was.
Some people described it could be like
they should sue the dirtbag.
It's like a stingray coming out of the lunar lander. It also looks like female sexual organs, like a uterus. But then up at the top, we have these weird reptilian Draco symbols. First of all, we got the double-headed eagle, stylized from my subconscious, as we said. Looks very similar.
George H.W. Bush was a Draco reptilian alien, apparently.
Like this on the moon.
According to David Wilcock.
And then we had Chris Beskar, the insider, confirm at our event in Loveland, Colorado.
He's not an insider.
What we're seeing now is indeed an image of the Draco reptilian motherships that greeted the Apollo lunar lander when it got there.
Yeah. Says an aerospace scammer that's been running an aerospace scam company for decades now and has never produced a product. He's David Wilcock's new insider.
Pretty much what they look like. And then when you add in my sketch, there's astonishing similarities. I mean,
it's not similar at all, David Wilcock. It does have a
black magic symbol on it.
He just makes things up.
Cannon. But the top of it looks remarkably similar. I would say this is a very close remote viewing type of psychic hit. Plus you have the double-headed eagle. Plus you have the pyramid on the moon. Plus you have the lunar lander. It's all there. It's very, very interesting. But another one that you didn't see, I drew in 1992. And this is fairly benign. It's artistic and gothic, but not really scary.
Tortured on the moon.
It has images of the pineal gland. It has images of blood and images of the syringe.
God.
So this is the whole thing. Now, I want to give a little context on this. The very first thing that happened is I remote viewed the shape inside the man on the moon. I just drew that shape all at once.
Oh, he just remote viewed this before he drew it. Now it all makes sense.
And this is
the ramblings of a lunatic, guys. This is really the ramblings of a lunatic. Like, look at this thing I drew in 1992. This means something. Dude, he's going to be eating his own shit on stream soon if this keeps up.
What's going on here.
This can't get crazier. The only thing he can do that would be crazier than what he's been doing lately is eat his own shit and drink his own piss live on stream.
He's got a nose and he's got a mouth. Now, around his mouth, it looks like there's something smeared on his mouth, and you can probably guess what that's a representation of.
This is so bizarre.
If you look at the right eye, it's
I couldn't be
phallic.
less interested. It says archaic
that
revival.
Looks very phallic.
Oh, it's phallic.
You see what I'm talking about? I don't want to be too specific, but then he has an eye.
Ravings of a lunatic with some bondage on the side.
By this funny stuff. So maybe I was taken into the desert. Maybe that's why we see this.
Ryan Gooden. This guy cracks me up. What an
lost
idiot.
200 people. There's 200 of you that can't hang with me through this. We're almost done with the weird art. I promise.
We're almost done with it.
But anyway,
God, I hope so.
300 now. So we lost a few people. images of what might be spaceships.
Could you
and
imagine
phosphorescence, some other things.
3,300 people
And
show
then
up
what
to
could
listen
be
to
an
this
image of the
lunatic?
coming inoculation
My
agenda with a
God.
needle, and there's a droplet piercing through the
Next,
veil.
he's liable to take a bath
Up
in his
the
own
top,
piss.
we have,
Oh,
again,
wait.
what looks like pineal
Yeah.
gland
Too
symbolism,
late. He's already done
where
that.
it leads into a matrix of some kind, and then the arms of this little being look like blood. So this is very, very weird and trippy and scary. 1992 is when I drew this.
Rare opportunity to see a psycho
okay, let's
spiraling
read some
down in real
comments.
time. Says Legal Eagle. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being
So,
a member as well.
That's actually a
Lot of
Draco
new
map,
members.
somebody says. I doubt the controller, Rob says, I doubt the controllers are pissed at David as long as he perpetuates the globe and outer space he's on. There's a, okay, you believe in flat Earth. That's
Where is
fine.
his family?
That's fine.
Someone get him some help.
This is like an
He needs a
octopus or
psychological
something, somebody
evaluation.
says. Craig
you ask
Williams
me.
says at the closing
Like,
ceremony of the 84
let's-
LA Summer
let's-
Olympics, there was a flying saucer.
Let's think about this for a minute. If a member of your family, let me ask the live chat. This is a serious question. So if a member of your family was telling people that he's talking to angels and that the angel told him to take a bath in his own piss in order to get superpowers, and he did take a bath in his own piss and he did get superpowers, wouldn't you demand psychological evaluation at least for your family member? Like, imagine if your wife, your husband, your brother, your mother, your father was saying, yeah, I'm talking to angels and they told me to take baths in my own piss and get superpowers. You could commit that person. It's incredible.
With a silver-suited alien, all designed, choreographed by Disney. John Smith says, I remember a short story I did in college where a group of reptilian high schoolers wearing lab coats
Don't
were
broadcast
such
your
humans,
descent
of
into
course.
madness. You may
Crystal
regret
P
it.
says, I'm exhausted over this.
Family
We are just about
attention
done with
here.
the abuse
Yes.
stuff.
Double
This is the
check
last
that
one. In
work.
fact, let's just cut ahead because now we're done with the abuse and everything else from here out is not abusive. So we still got 3,300 people. Some of you are coming back. And now we'll do the glasses
You
for
need
the
to be
second
taken to a
time.
drug rehab, says
Just to let
Flubber
you know,
Lane.
yes, we're done.
Evergreen
This is
says
it.
knuck and
We got
futz.
through the whole
Yes.
thing. Okay, so
Hank McGurk says I'd be pissing on myself.
this is a lot easier to
Too
read.
late.
from here on
Wilcock
out,
already did that.
Because now we're going to be dealing
He's
with
getting worse and worse each
a
day.
future scenario that I wrote in 1989.
Anthony
Diary
M.
2013.
I just cleaned off.
So the
I
first
just
thing you
cleaned
might
that off
notice
my
is, well,
toilet
yeah,
seat.
2013 is right after 2012. That might have been some kind of psychic hit. Again, there is no more drawings or poems of abuse. This is the last that we got through all of it now.
Somehow my
We're
mouse
only at
just
1 hour
went
and
in.
41 minutes. So
Like
that's
my
good.
mouse?
I'm on time.
That's weird.
So, okay, 2013. Now remember,
Let
we
me
had
see
the
if I
movie
could do something about
2001.
that,
Everybody was
friends.
hoping that by 2013 we'd all be in space.
Pardon me a moment. Wait a minute. I can't stop
Not really
it.
true, but anyway. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Hardly anybody
Hold
left. We
on.
only lost 200 people.
That's bizarro.
So we're going to keep going. So
I just
again,
gotta plug the mouse back
day
in, I think.
92,413, I added it up and I did the math, and it's 253 years, which is interesting because the Law of One says it's a 300-year transition period between, actually it's the India article that was written on a website in India that I have in book one of Michael Prophecies. That's where this came from, the 300-year figure. So this is very interesting. Crystal P just donated. Thank you, Crystal. She says, we love you. I know she was upset about this stuff. Samaj Orianilam, if I pronounce that right, Orianilam says, thank you for sharing. You can see them going by right
Let's see
here.
if that fixed
Thank you
it.
guys. That is so awesome. I really do appreciate the donation.
No, I lost the mouse.
We
That
really
was
do need
so
them. Thank
bizarre.
you for hanging with me. I'm sorry I had to read you the demon poem, but believe me, it's going to get so good when you
It's
see
gonna get
what
so
happens
good.
and how I kicked these guys' ass.
Oh,
the secret
pardon
space
me. I
program
gotta
and
fix
escape
this, and I gotta keep
with my
talking
life
over
intact
him.
after they killed me a bunch
Please
of times, but I guess
pardon
I
me.
still managed to get out alive, which is really cool. So this is very interesting. This is like, I mean, I honestly wish that I could have had any insider before who had this type of supporting evidence to make such an outrageous claim as anything like the idea of a secret space program.
The mouse actually died? Oh my God, what are we going
Corey
to do?
Good said that he drew a bunch of aliens.
Oh, we got it back.
Didn't save any of it.
Oh,
I managed
and
to
now
do
it's
it,
gone
thank
again.
God. So anyway, here's
Damn
where
it.
we got this. I feel a shift in the temperature of the room when I get up this morning, reaching for the climate adjust
I'll try to keep talking.
to the tropical
A mission
equatorial
critical
setting.
application
The room
problem
fills with
here.
puffs of warm air at
You
a
can't control the
temperature
show
of
without the
204
mouse.
Kelvin. I grabbed the Brute Men's
hold on.
sanitizer from the cabinet
do
by
this.
my bed and pressed it into my armpit, feeling a slight tickle on my skin, like it's an electrical.
He's feeling tickles on his
I do
skin.
the other side and crawl out of bed and float down to the clothing dispenser. I press the shirt button using the correct amount of speed and strength to reflect how I feel. The button
Alright,
senses
I gotta
how
go
I
behind
feel
this thing.
and spits out the shirt accordingly. And she
Oh
underlines
no, we're having a
underlines
broadcast
and says it's
emergency.
awkward. That's what AWK means. I didn't actually get an A on this, you guys. I got a B+. Ooh, did not.
I gotta keep talking.
So that was part of the reason why she gave me a B+.
I'm gonna plug it into a
Press
router.
the
That
pants
might
button,
work better.
and the machine gives me a pair based on the same concept as the shirt. And then she
I
says,
mean,
"This
into
is
the
clever."
USB expansion.
I got some
hub
donations. Purple
that
Aquarium,
we have
$10.
here.
Thank you.
Let's try that.
Putting on the day's clothes, I touch the rotation screen, which will pop up a
Otherwise,
job for
I'm
me to
gonna
do
have
for the
to
day.
end the
See blue letters
broadcast
spell out landing base incoming.
because I
This
can't
job
control
basically resembles an
the
air
show
traffic controller coordinating landing
without
times
the
and
mouse.
contacting the drivers. In this colony, which is obviously off planet,
It's the deep
everyone
state.
is taught every job. There is no need to ever.
Yeah, it's
be
so
bored.
bizarre.
Said, "This is
The
good."
mouse is just
It
gone.
also makes the
There's
colony
no
more
mouse
productive
cursor.
by having
I've plugged and
workers with
unplugged it
initiative
twice.
because of the wide variety
So
of
bizarre.
jobs. Having read the job and receiving
This
the
has
company's
never
uniform,
happened during a live
and
broadcast
basically
before.
it's like a 3D printed uniform. Really interesting.
It must
like
be.
maybe this stuff is true. Maybe there's something to this. I am ready to leave my room. I float over to a
It must
special part of the
be
floor and press a button with my
Men in
toe.
Black.
We got donations from D. Bonanential and Richard Whitney. Thank you. Wow, Richard donated $100. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, great.
I float over to a special part of the floor, press a button with my toe. Gravitation shoes pop up. Yes, I ripped that from 2001, and I put them on. The luxury of being able to stay on the ground.
One
is then
second,
mine.
friends.
I think they actually do have their own gravity, so this is probably just my own conscious mind. I step into an airlock, which will send a gas over my body to sanitize me of any germs. And she said awkward again, because I shouldn't have said myself. I didn't want to write the word me. To sanitize me of any germs I may have picked up. Ooh, we got more donations. Salim Ilatab and Daniel Lewandowski. Thank you guys both for that. Hey, David, let's a meditation contribution session to raise money. You brought me the Cosmic Secret. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. So sickness, let's see, where were we? I go into an airlock. It sends a gas over my body to sanitize me of any germs I picked up. Sickness is not acceptable anymore. It slows production and makes your tasks take longer. When the room turns yellow, I take a deep breath and hold my breath. The room turns red. The germ-killing gas escapes from vents. It is blown away. The room turns green, and I emerge ready for a day of work. That sounds plausible. I mean, I don't really know if this stuff is true, but I think that this gives you a sense of what it would be like to live on an off-planet base, which I very well apparently had done. So I think there's a lot of truth in this stuff. I am a colonist on the newly developed NASA space station, feeling very fortunate to land the job because of my past scientific research efforts. I have a wife and son on Earth and parents on the Tycho colony on the moon. That's another 2001 thing. I work for the good of the colony, as do all of the other scientists here. So we're talking about lunar colonization. Greed is very uncommon. You can make an appeal for whatever it is you desire, and it will be yours, if within reason, in about a week. She says this is especially good. As I step out of the sanitizing airlock, I see the space station that I have grown to love. The Earth casts an eerie blue haze through the front main windows, which I capitalized. The anti-grav water fountain is in full splendor.
Still no
A
mouse.
reminder of sprinklers I saw in shopping malls on
I'm gonna
Earth.
have to reboot
In
that
space,
thing.
the water can flow from the floor
Plugged
to
and
the ceiling.
unplugged the
Right?
mouse 6 times.
People
Maybe the
on
mouse
A
is
level, it
actually
looks
dead.
normal because they all live on what I think
Maybe.
is the ceiling.
Let me try
In fact, any of the walls can be walked on. due to
another
the gravitative
mouse.
shoes we wear.
In the meantime,
Keep
everybody
off my
keep
shoes, I
chatting
can
in the
float
live
around, but
chat.
Floaters have to be kept to a minimum to avoid collisions. Wow, I got 2 more donations. Tristan Nearly and Diane Molt, thank you. Also, sailing 50 feet from the floor to the ceiling, which becomes a floor, is very exhilarating and scary as an experience. I walk onto the wall I'm facing, it becomes the floor. I walk into a transportation chamber where I am shot in a capsule through a set of vacuum tubes.
Maybe
to my
banging it helps?
destination, the
Punching
outgoing
it?
spacecraft. Moon. Whoa. So this is one of the things
I'm
that
going to
just
try to
really,
listen
really
to
jumped
him.
out at
Keep
me. Like, whoa,
doing
wait.
commentary, so we don't
This
get
is the
copyright.
subshuttle system. I had multiple insiders tell me that there are, in fact, these vacuum tubes that are in a capsule. You get
You've had
shot through
multiple
vacuum tubes to
insiders.
your destination.
In
Now, that's
other
a
words,
very specific
multiple
thing,
fake
and I wrote that
whistleblowers,
into my poem
like his fake
long
government
before I ever had met
insiders
with
that
any of
never
these
worked for
insiders
the
saying this is
government.
true. So this is one of those crazy things where I'm like, darn, how did I get that?
Oh, I'm going to have to
Maybe
end the
it's because
stream
some of
from
this
my
is true.
office.
Maybe all of it is true. I enter a one-man. We got Pauline Chartrand. Love you, David. God bless you. Thank you.
The mouse
I
is
enter a
doing something
one-man
wacky.
pod with my
I don't
name
know
on
what's
it, and I
going on.
activate it with a green optic key that I keep with me. so I entered into a one-man
I'm gonna have
pod and
to try
activated
another
the
mouse.
I
It's
did
the only
hear
thing I
that they
can
have
think of
passes that allow
now.
them to get into their own areas of
I
access.
love technical
And
problems.
then
It's
to
the Men in
pause
Black.
to access
They're doing
the-
this. They're trying to
another
destroy our
fascinating connection.
stream.
Two of them in one paragraph: the sub-shuttle system and then the green optic key. I advance forward with a delicate tap on the rear thrusters, escaping the hold. When I clear the runway, I activate my thrusters again to increase speed. I whiz down the side of the space station, looking into the windows and waving at children. I eye digital billboards while yawning fiercely. On these billboards, Earth sponsors support the space station by paying to have their advertisements put up. Billboards are the same as on Earth, except there are no alcohol or tobacco advertisements. The products are now illegal to publicly advertise. Smokers must go into a special smoke ionization room, which ionizes and destroys smoke particles in slow water-like waves. She says, yes, let's get rid of these monsters. So she doesn't like tobacco and alcohol, apparently. Arriving at landing base, I look for the portal, which I must enter when I start my job. When I see it, I aim the pod's onboard antenna at the portal and type in my access code, name, and ID number. This sounds very specific. It's like I really knew what I was talking about. I then am able to fly into the hole after giving the access codes, and I instantly begin receiving flight patterns as the pod begins mechanically transforming into my office. So I'm in this pod, and it goes inside this room, and then everything is like magically morphing into the office that I'm going to be in, and then it'll morph back into the pod when I leave. That's another really, really strange thing that I have in my other story you're going to see here in a minute too. And again, there's no more abuse. That part's all done. The heads-up display of incoming craft blinks to life with a TWA cargo bus, which is really a spaceship, and a Rockwell International passenger jet, not really a jet, jockeying for position in order to land properly. After I send them the triangulated coordinates, I press the Visa phone button. This is like Skype or Zoom. And I enter in country code, city code, local number of my house on Earth. Since all long-distance calls were made free, she says, watch
David
your
Wilcock sent a direct-to-energy weapon
calling my house
to kill my...
He begins to tell me about the latest episode of Sesame.
So apparently, the mouse was the victim of a direct... Okay, there we go. I don't know what happened, but apparently we were the victim of a directed energy weapon attack on my mouse. David Wilcock is trying to stop me from controlling the show and telling you the truth about his bullshit and 3.5 hour long drivel fest of bullshittery. But it's okay. I got a new mouse, David Wilcock. You're going to have to do better than just taking out my USB mouse, David Wilcock, with your direct-to-energy weapon. Maybe it was a psychic attack. Oh, no. Sorry about that, friends. Praise the cash, everyone, says Legal Eagle. Well, we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Boy, we could chalk that up to I never had that happen before. Just a mouse die right in the middle of a live stream. Thank you, Legal Eagle, both for being a member and for helping us to praise the cash.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right. Oh, and let me check my settings because sometimes the microphone gets dorked or borked. Okay, we're good. I'm going to check in and catch up to the live chat. If he really believes, Anthony M says, if he really believes this, he needs help. If he doesn't, then his followers do. Yes, there's an unmarked van parked outside screwing up my live stream. It's because of jerks like this that people laugh at me. I guess so, Anthony. Yeah. All right. I'm just about caught up in the live chat. Anthony M says, I've seen some assholes, but this guy takes the cake. Yeah. Well, let's see where we were at. And I truly apologize for the technical problems. Please don't email me if you're one of those complainers that's going to cry and complain about how unprofessional it is for me to lose control of the street. You know, people send me shit like that all the time. And we're just going to do like a few more minutes and then we're going to call it a night. I can't take much more of this bullshit of his childhood.
The Hall of You. I begin to recall colorful images of Big Bird and Grover that I saw on two-dimensional television. When
he begins to recall colorful images of Big Bird and Grover. Now we've got Sesame Street. Maybe Big Bird and Grover were his childhood abusers.
This is describing the exploits of these fuzzy urban creatures. I press the message button on the Visiphone panel, and I leave my wife a voice message with video to call me at 2100 hours. I get back to work and discover that a barge is now on a collision course with a fast-moving hydroplane. I hurriedly contact the barge and tell it to reverse course immediately. When the hydroplane's path is finally clear,
I need 7
relax back
cameras
into my
and 7
chair
spare
and
mounts.
press a Valium strip onto my wrist to ease the tension. I peel it off after a few seconds to avoid being heavily medicated, and she thought that was great. This is really funny, isn't it? I love this. I love this thing. It's such a beautiful future vision. Hours later, I drive home and crawl into my room. I take off the gravitation shoes and relax after a long day.
Yes, he may urinate on me while I'm sleeping. Definitely Ignatius J. Riley. And thanks for being a member and being here.
Bed and turn on the environment holographic simulator to the forest setting, which is just like the
I knew Big Bird was an alien too.
Before Star Trek ever came out.
Yeah.
The room turns into a grassy, wonderful forest. Star Trek Next Generation, I guess, had just come out at this time. So maybe I borrowed it from there. The room turns into a grassy, wonderful forest like those I remember.
So he wrote this in 1988?
I breathe the humid, slightly odorous air from the simulator and fall asleep. Immersed in a wild, playful dream, I'm abruptly called to attention by a high-pitched whistle and glaring white light. I had given my wife a message to call me, and I'd forgotten that I'd be asleep at 21 hours that night. I tried to fix my hair as the image of my wife begins appearing in the room.
What are you talking about?
Once her full hologram appears,
I've lost the plot again.
In the room with me. She begins to talk to me, and I explain that I forgot that I would be asleep at this time of the day today. She understands and tells me I never do anything right.
He likes his Valium. Yeah, I have a feeling he was heavily medicated.
Well, I guess I'll let you sleep, she says.
Just a guess.
Ironic hologram here is that I did
Wilcock is smoking
for
K2.
a massage I was supposed to have on Friday. So this again looks like another time loop into the present where I did oversleep recently. But I didn't get waken up.
David Wilcock pays people to massage him. Think about that for a minute. He has to pay a woman to touch him, right? I'm assuming it's a woman. He probably likes the dudes massaging him, though, I would think, right? I think so. I think he prefers a male masseuse.
Didn't go. So she says, I guess I'll let you sleep. I say, thank you, dear. I love you, and blew her a kiss. She says goodbye, and her image along with the lights fades away.
His space wife,
what I might end up doing tomorrow and end up falling asleep in thought. I am amazed at how well the
simulator look, he got a B+ on this paper
dream I was
from his childhood.
Beginning to start again. Christina Trefan and Roger Zabarik both thank you very much for the donation. She says, excellent ideas. This needs cutting. There's too much thrown at the reader, perhaps less about the job. B+. Ooh, denied. Denied. No A for you. Your future poem is only worthy of a B+ because you rambled on in too much detail. I'm glad I put all the detail in now. I mean, this wasn't really for high school. It was for me. So around the same time, I saw that horrible movie, Hellraiser 2.
Sounds good to me.
I really recommend you go see, but it had something similar to 2001, The Leviathan. We talked about this before. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. They're going through this weird satanic labyrinth, and there's this weird
too much Wilcock
shaped thing, like two obelisks, and is shooting out black beams. And this is from a comic book, same kind of deal. Again, that's called The Leviathan. I had a very intense dream after I saw this movie that I then drew.
His wife's name is Bob.
We found out that, in fact, there is a Lucifer's Palace.
I think he's full of shit.
Antarctica. And I think Pete Peterson had mentioned this to me at one point.
Pete Peterson, my fake insider.
Beskard mentioned this.
Christopher Bledsoe is very dangerous and a cult leader, in my view. Thrice greatest. And you can look at our Murder in UFO Land, the Christopher Gray story. Somebody got so deep down the Bledsoe and the lady rabbit hole that they killed their own father and live streamed it. So I admit that I'm biased, but I think that Mr. Bledsoe is very dangerous. He sniffs his childhood pajamas. Oh, gross.
This to me, I just laughed. But the idea is that there's a palace in Antarctica next to these, probably near these black.
He would go for a guy or girl. Don't kid yourself.
It's way more fancy and lavish than anything
I heard
else
he likes
on
Japanese
Earth.
robots.
When you go in there, you know that this could be considered somebody who rules the Earth. And a human entity projects, and it appears to be
Oh,
Lucifer.
again with Lucifer in the Antarctic palace.
It may appear as like an older man, like an elderly male. I'm not exactly sure, but that's how it appears in this story I'm about to write. So the story that I'm about to write that you're going to read with me now is literally where I storm Lucifer's palace and I destroy Lucifer. I actually kill him only to find out that he can't really die, but then I have an ascension workaround that's very, very amazing. I'm extremely proud of the story that you're about to read.
Oh my God.
It's not violent. It's not gory.
No, we have to stop there. I can't take another David. Now he's the hero of a story where he kills Lucifer, right? And he wrote this as a teenager. What teenager is writing stories about murdering Lucifer? This sounds psychopathic to me, and that's just my opinion, or sociopathic, or it just screams, I need mental help. This man screams, I need mental help. I have to check out. We made it an hour and 55 minutes in. Maybe we'll do the other part, but time is short for the week, so I'm not quite sure about that and what we will actually do about that. And you have to forgive me, I bumped my camera here. There we go. It's good enough to finish the show off. I apologize for the technical problems we had. Now I know that I need to have a spare mouse available on whatever streaming computer I am using at all times. We will be back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I hope that you will all be with us. With me here, I have a great show planned tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to close the show out with one of my favorite music videos. It's the Wilcock one, right? And we want to thank Simon Fly for his amazing contributions to the show. We'll play the show out with this. We want to take a moment to thank you, kind and generous benefactors. Let's make sure that we didn't miss anybody. One more super chat. For those unaware, we read every single super chat. We thank every single PayPal pledger. We thank all of you for your kindness, generosity, and support tonight. Another great night of praising the cash. Zizix, thanks for being a member, and your kind and generous $2 super chat. Every dollar helps, friends. So we appreciate you helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, 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 praise the cash.
All right. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Much, much appreciated. So I'm going to bounce on out of here. What can we say to wrap up? This guy's so desperate for material. He's telling people that shit that he wrote when he was 8 years old is meaningful and important. That's the ego on this guy. Oh, 3,000 people. Like, I don't know. All I can relate it to is my own show. And if 3,000 people tuned in to watch me do a show, I think the last thing on earth I would do is read shit that I wrote when I was 8 years old. But apparently, this is the best that David Wilcock can actually, produce. Otherwise, he'd actually have to work, and he's very averse to that. We've seen that. What is particularly disturbing to me about David Wilcock lately is that he is consciously and, he is consciously using childhood sexual abuse in his grift here, in his scam. And I find that absolutely deplorable and despicable. And it is insulting to all victims of childhood abuse, sexual or otherwise. And what's his proof? He doesn't have any. Oh, these are recovered memories. I was and listen to the ridiculousness of this. I was abducted by aliens, and then they banged me. And then they throat banged me. I guess they butt banged him and throat banged him. And then, I'm sure this stream's getting demonetized. How many times have I said butt bang and throat bang, but I have to explain this. So they butt bang. I'm not sure what order this took place in. I'm sure they abducted him first, but after that, things get hazy. But apparently, according to David Wilcock, they butt banged him, they throat banged him, they ate him, and then they murdered him, and then they reanimated him. Totally believable story, right? I would think. Totally believable. What's your evidence for this? Oh, I drew some shit when I was 8 years old, and I was scared of monsters on TV. This is the stupid. How dumb are the people that watch this guy? How dumb are the people that give him money for this bullshit? I just don't get it. But we'll be back to try to understand more of the wacky world of Wilcock soon. In the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want to thank you, kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters, you YouTube channel members, Super Chatters, PayPal pledgers, Twitch subscribers, and more. We thank every one of you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. Remember, we're a viewer-supported show. And nothing makes the dream work like teamwork. We appreciate everybody throws a buck in or whatever you throw in. We really appreciate all of you. I definitely think that this Wilcock thing, he is losing whatever influence he once had, the more and more ridiculous that he gets. And this is evidenced by the fact that his last live event had less than 150 people attend, which is pretty funny. We want to thank F YouTube and Wilcock Love Gigi for a kind of generous $5 PayPal pledge. Thank you very much. And we want to thank North, who is the MVP of PayPal pledges, sent a $50 PayPal pledge and says, Wilcock's $333 course in griftology. Greatest name, griftology. Yes, sent by North, kind of generous $50. We thank you for helping us. All of you kind of generous people helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, 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 praise the cash. Subscribe and hit the like button. Smash it like it's hot.
Yes, thank you very much. All of you generous people. I'm so thankful for all of you because we really do appreciate all of your support. Yes, Anthony M says, at least he didn't pick up the guitar. How does Wilcock not get demonetized? I have no idea. Archaic Revival, really fun show. Operation Shutdown, praise the cash. Hank McGurk says, might need more lyrics. Yes, Jason Parker, and a former president raped him. Totally insane and defamatory. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But we've done our due diligence. Look, I don't know. Sometimes when I try to do this, I know I'm a professional wackadoo translator, but even being a professional wackadoo translator that I am, translating David Wilcock's wackadoo shit is an extreme challenge of my wackadoo translation abilities. But we did our best. And we'll be back to do it another day tomorrow, 9 p.m. I got a great show for you planned. I hope you will be here. We're going to play us out with Simon Fly's wonderful hit song, I'm David Wilcock. So that's all I got for you, friends. Again, I apologize for the technical problems. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Very good. 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 I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. Cock. Wow. 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 Extraterrestrials, angels suck. Extraterrestrials, angels suck. Extraterrestrials, angels suck. Extraterrestrials, angels suck. Wilcock. 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 Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, angels. Woo! 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 Talk. 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 I'm David Wilcock.